Are you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm so ready.
Okay. Love the enthusiasm. Hey guys, welcome to episode 49 of Spine Chill. I'm one of your hosts, John Wolf, here with Gary the Hot Cross,
Hello.
Beats,
I'm also one of the hosts.
and Doug Running
True.
Man.
I'm also one of the hosts, parentheses Co.
So I just didn't feel the need
Junior.
to introduce you all
Junior.
individually as hosts. It just feels unnecessary at this point.
I'm hosting.
I'm Junior
John
hosting.
introduced the two important ones, and then you guys are here as well.
You see, I don't know how Sinnoh's gonna like this. Like, you don't want to be where I'm at, man. You need to do something to get out of here, because this is it gets. I'm not gonna say it gets old, but you know, it hurts
that's-
sometimes. You know,
I didn't
It's just
even
like-
bring up the different ranks of co-host. I just introduced us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to abolish the old system,
Is that happening?
but you're keeping it alive right now by complaining about it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I guess I just fuck
It's a
everything
very
up and should probably
junior
stay.
co-host thing for you to do, Doug.
That's what I was gonna just say. Yep.
Are
Yeah, it's on brand.
Are we going to move to a flat company structure where there's flagrant abuses of power, but there's no formal system of power in place? So
We're
Right,
going to be
yeah.
pissing in bottles in no time.
Hmm.
We're not going to have official ranks anymore, but they'll still be there in spirit.
Yeah.
we can just bully you out of the workplace, but you
Sure.
don't have any official recourse for it.
So
Yeah.
this sounds like a scary direction we're going in.
Yeah, I'm too dumb to know what it means, so I'm not afraid.
Well, we've got a
Alright.
great show for you all today.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, especially all of our. We haven't shouted them out in a while, but all of our fans in Romania.
Hi,
We just
Romania.
Still the
Well,
heart.
wanted to say
in
hi.
fairness,
You're still the
We are
heart.
waiting for our key to the city. Or to the,
Mm.
to
If
the
you're a
country.
fan from Romania,
To the city of Romania.
yeah, first of all, I would like a key as well. But second of all, can you tell us Romanian facts?
Oh,
I wish to learn more about Romania.
I would like some Romanian facts.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Sounds great.
Because I
Tell us
honestly,
more about
I don't know as much as I feel like I should.
The only thing I know about Romania is how pretty it looks every time they have their Eurovision song comes up, and it shows like that little video that
Mhm.
usually shows like this the country or like the capital city or something. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
There's lots of these places that I think in Europe that get a lot of like tourism and people go there and they're like, yeah, it's beautiful here. And then there's probably lots of parts of Europe that people don't go to. They're also just like fucking gorgeous.
Mm.
So what Sinnoh's saying is, don't get too full of yourselves, Romania. It's pretty everywhere.
Hey, there's a lot of pretty places in the world,
Pretty
Romania.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty everywhere. So-
Well, I'm also saying Romania, be careful because if you make Romania look too good, you're gonna get a bunch of British tourists coming over and they're
Oh,
And
terrible.
we will bring our football hooligans.
They're awful.
yeah, ask the Netherlands how they like that.
Yeah. People from the Netherlands are always just like, yeah, it's great. It's not really a problem. And I'm like, surely
They're
there
just-
must be times you're just like, oh my fucking
They're being
God.
nice. They're being nice.
Yeah,
Step into their
they're
bike
probably-
lane and find out how nice.
Oh my
they are.
God.
I stayed when I went to Amsterdam one time. I stayed in like a more residential area, and someone shouted at me and my friend because they hate tourists. So there's definitely a move in areas of
Oh,
that
yeah.
country that
I mean, if I lived in
Really don't like
Amsterdam, I
tourists.
would have been sick of it by now. It's really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But I think that's
Yeah.
just kind of what you sign up for if you live in Amsterdam. Sorry, John, we forgot to introduce the fifth co-host. And I'm not saying the viewer at home, because they're
Right.
now the sixth co-host.
Oh.
Danny?
The fifth co-host is Doug's mustache.
You're
Oh.
right.
A
We
new
need to-
addition to Spine Chill.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I love it. I think I love it. Like, I don't know, I just turned 41 last week. That was my birthday.
Happy
Congratulations.
birthday! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on making it this far.
Yeah, congratulations to you guys too. So I woke up on my 41st birthday and I was like, you know what, this makes sense. So it's this is going to be, in my opinion, the number one mustache in asymmetrical horror. Because I don't think
Really?
anybody, I don't think
News.
anybody can stand.
I think it already is.
I think so too. And again, I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, like, I'm getting excited about it. Like, I'm gonna get like one of the kits and I'm gonna start doing the
Yeah.
oils. I'm gonna start doing the trims. And I'm gonna mess with it.
You're gonna
Um,
try and rival Sonica.
No, that's like asking, you don't ever want to go into it going up. Like, obviously one day maybe I'll build to the level of Sonic Kid's mustache, but I'm a rookie in the mustache game. You know what I mean? This is my
Okay,
first.
yeah, just-
This is my first real crack at a mustache since I got out of the military.
Just
so-
checking. So that's like going against Mike Tyson in the ring.
Exactly. That's like trying to go up against the great one, right? Like, so again, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to let him take me under his wing, or maybe a wing of his mustache, and eventually, could turn into like a Jedi master, like Sith master sort of situation.
You could
where
be his young Padawan
I could.
or his
Yeah.
older Padawan.
I went into Doug's chat and I was like, oh my god, is that Omni-Man? And you didn't get it, which is
I don't
a
know.
shame.
Yeah, who is Omni Man?
Oh no! You know what?
Omni-Man is from-
Invincible.
How about
Invincible.
Invincible?
Invincible.
It's that comic series.
Memes. You've seen memes of Invincible. I promise.
Yeah, it's that comic series that got turned into an animated series, and it has some like
Oh,
really
yeah, yeah.
bloody,
Yep,
jarring
yep.
moments, and
Yeah.
Omni-Man is
John-
the
John is absolutely correct. I have
mustache
seen that
daddy
guy.
from that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
See, and I'm a pro wrestling fan, so I've been telling people I'm doing a Rick Rude impression, which I don't think that lands for most people. But Rick Rude is another mustached man.
Whereas I think you look like a developer for Texas Chainsaw Massacre
That's what I'm going for, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
An anonymous developer.
that I will not say the name of.
That's fair.
Nobody will figure it out. You've
No.
tricked them all, Gary.
It's a mystery.
They'll never
It's-
know.
It's been fun. It was a subathon goal to grow a mustache for a month, and then I had a goal to keep the mustache, and I didn't hit that during this last subathon, and I'm going to keep it anyways. So
To spite them.
no, more because like people were very supportive in other ways, not subs.
Mm.
So it was like, and they were like, "What about keeping the mustache longer?" But I'm just going to be 100% transparent. I like it. I think it fits.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fun. It's fun to play around with and do something new. Maybe I'll grow my hair, get a mullet and a mustache. I could really.
You'd have to start wearing sunglasses
I have sunglasses now.
and
I got
and start learn how to use nunchucks.
learn.
Just get some nunchucks.
You're
I'm
turning
already a
into an
master.
80s action star, basically.
I'd
But
love.
fashion is cyclical. I've seen quite a few young guys around Glasgow with mullets and stuff now.
Mhm.
And the Silent Hill 2, this is a really random thing, but Maria's outfit in Silent Hill 2, I've seen some ladies say that has gone from being a kind of dated 90s fashion thing, or like early 2000s, because she was based off of Christina Aguilera in the early 2000s, to coming back into fashion again. Now people are saying those type of clothes are coming back. So I think mustaches and mullets and stuff
Cool.
are having their time.
That's
You're
good.
bringing
You're having your
dirty
time,
back.
Doug. Bringing dirty back.
Because Chris Aguilera, dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Dirty.
That one, yeah. But it is funny how sometimes things that we see will be like, it's a bit naff and old now, isn't it? And then it comes back and all the kids are like, oh my god, have you heard of this thing? It's called a mullet.
It's
Yeah.
like yo-yos always come back.
Yes,
not even meant
I
to be
mean
a joke,
that's
but like
if you're
the-
good at them.
The trend of yo-yos like tends to come
Yeah.
back every like
I
10,
was
never-
15
shite at
years.
yo-yos.
That's never been the case.
Yeah, I
for
was
me,
really
but
bad at them.
I believe you.
People would always do the stalling trick. Everybody, all my friends were capable of doing like ollies and kickflips on skateboards, and they were capable of doing stalling tricks and yo-yos. I couldn't do either
Yeah.
of them. And I think that was when I was like, I'm not cool. I'm not going to be one of the cool kids.
Did you guys ever play with hacky sacks?
Oh, I.
no,
know how
yeah,
to
no,
sell
it's
them?
just a-
No,
Tried,
no
but,
idea
yeah.
what that is.
Okay, hacky sacks are like little sacks that are filled with beads or sand or
Yeah,
whatever, and you like
Okay.
Yeah.
A beanbag.
you use your.
It was kind of
it's-
like a Depression era game, Gary.
Okay.
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 Or like the,
Okay.
like the cup and the
Oh,
ball.
I'm just saying,
try-
like the same kind of crew that would have been doing yo-yo tricks is the same similar kind of crew that does hacky sacks. Like
That's
we
true.
were-
Cool little tricks
So that
with
was
that. Yeah,
so
yeah.
when I was growing up, that was what we picked. We were hacky sack guys all the way up until I remember the
When
first.
you kick them up.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
with
yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
soccer players, they bounce the ball on their feet, but
Yeah.
then like we do with hacky sacks, and you can do a bunch of tricks. I learned a bunch of hacky sack tricks. That's what I knew how to do. I could never do yo-yo, but I could do hacky sack tricks.
You were a hacky sack guy.
I
I had
was.
Beyblade.
And then the coolest thing was when I went to my first ever PAX in Seattle, way back when PAX was first becoming a thing. A lot of like guys with like the retro thing. I remember people were wearing fanny packs and people were playing hacky sack. So there was like,
That sounds
yeah,
very PAX. Yeah.
it was very PAX, right? But for me, it was cool because my kids were really little and they were like, I was like, oh, I know how to do this. And so I jumped into a circle and was hacky sacking with these guys.
Nice.
That was the first time my children were proud of me.
into a circle.
Hacky packs, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, you could put your hacky sack in your hacky pack. Okay.
Hacky pack and
Fanny
hacky packs. Oh my god, we could make a tongue twister out of that. Wow.
Could sell merch.
Cool.
Yeah, that's going on a t-shirt.
So hacky sacks and yo-yoing is the subject today. We we get around, men.
Speaking
Yeah.
of getting around,
Yeah.
what came back for us when we were younger in the early 2000s, and I think this was an old thing that came back again, the scooter revival.
Yes.
Talking about Razor, like little Razor
Well,
scooters,
Yeah.
or like okay.
I have seen, in my area at least, a lot of motorized scooters. They're almost always motorized when I see them.
Yeah,
Motor-
we didn't have
motor-
that shit
motor
when I was
scooters?
a kid.
Yeah, with old school, you had to move it by foot.
Motor scooters feels more Austin than Dallas to me. It seems like a
And you know
hipster
what?
kind of thing, right?
'Cause Austin likes to think that they're the only corner of the world that has anything like that, but they're not that unique, okay? I'm an Austin hater.
I struck a
Full
nerve, dude.
blown
I-
Austin
I have-
hater. No, 'cause
Austin's
they
got-
live in their little world down there, and they're just like, no one else has motorized scooters. We're so quirky and weird down in Austin. We have them. We have them up here too. Okay, everybody has them.
Austin has a great stand-up comedy scene. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's why I can't be an Austin hater. I'm a big Kill Tony fan, so I really enjoy
I see. I was about
the
to ask.
Austin comedy scene. But
Yeah.
but I also have love for Dallas. I've talked to you about this.
Well,
before. Like,
Austin thinks they're the only ones that can do tacos. They think they're the only ones that can do live music. But the problem is that people in Austin never go anywhere else. So how would they know?
right.
They stay inside Austin city limits year round every year.
Isn't
And then
there
they think that it's the only thing that exists. But
isn't there an actual music festival called Austin City Limits?
yes, there is.
Yeah, so I thought
Yeah,
so.
ACL.
Very.
Yeah.
I like that you dropped that. That was good.
It's a bit like people from New York City, because a lot of people from New York City have a lot of pride in it. But sometimes the way they talk about other places, it's like, yeah, so we have this thing called culture in New York City. It's like, yeah, other places have
These
shit
people-
going on as well, you know?
True.
These people, they always act like they're so well cultured, but then it's like, when's the last time you left New York?
Yeah.
Exactly. They
We
don't
have
go
this thing-
anywhere else. You have to
We have
be
these things called
well-traveled.
bodegas here in New York City. And it's like, yeah, it's like a corner shop. It's like, it's not the most insane thing to imagine. And it's like, I get
Same
the pride
concept.
that they have for New York, but sometimes it goes a
Yeah.
little.
I feel like being proud of
Um,
where you're from doesn't have to be.
You don't have to hate
aggra-
everywhere else.
You don't,
Oh, yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to. Yeah, it doesn't
just
have to
because you
come
like
with
where you are.
aggression, right? Like I love where I'm from, but I'm not going to shove Alaska down anybody's throat. You know, you guys don't
Mhm.
shove the UK down anybody's throat. I've never once heard John try to shove Dallas down anyone's throat. But you're happy
True.
with where you came from. You're proud of where you came from.
Yeah, we
But-
got good food here, but, there's good food other places too.
In fairness,
You
it's
know,
very
no, you
difficult
get
for
it,
us in
bro.
the it's very difficult for us in
get
the UK to boast about how awesome our country is these days.
Yeah. And I mean,
Y'all
yeah,
say that. Y'all say that, but anytime an American says anything slightly untoward about the UK, you guys
They
get your
puff
That's because
up.
it
gloves
comes
on.
from
They
like a
puff up.
shitty place.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just saying, I've
people from the
witnessed
UK are very much like when you hear somebody make fun of their own sibling and they'll go on about how stupid their brother is or whatever, and then somebody else makes fun of their brother and like, whoa,
absolutely not.
what the
Yeah.
fuck are you saying,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah.
But then
I'm not-
5 minutes
I'm-
later, they're like, oh yeah, my brother's such a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People from the UK
Yeah.
can be very like that, I think.
Yeah. Not having the
Totally.
nation of canned cheese shitting on my country.
See, Gary's doing it right now.
I can shit on it.
You're already doing
The
it.
nation of canned cheese. I feel like that's a really
Very
bad
pointed.
faith characterization.
Yeah. I don't think that's as a nation. I don't think we identify with Canada.
I
Okay,
think we as a majority disclaim canned cheese.
Okay,
actually.
that's fair
whoa,
enough.
you know, Joe, whoa. Let's not get too hasty.
As a majority.
Okay.
So now I've got them to
What?
turn on each other.
Nope, not
Yeah,
gonna
see,
happen.
This is what they always do. This is
You'd
what
like
they
to
always
We
try.
do.
do
You'd like
have
to try.
breakfast in a can over here.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I don't think the UK is in any
Is there
position to
baked
attack
beans in it?
food.
it's everything.
Right,
It's
John?
like the
I mean, do we
egg, the
think-
sausage, the beans.
Do we think
it's
that the
breakfast.
UK has any leg to stand on in the food discussion? I mean, obesity is like our national pastime, bro. We got the food here.
Food does win in America.
That's true.
Generally, I'm on
And
to
I-
America for food.
I was gonna say, I've seen you eat in America, Gary.
We do have
I've-
food tourism, yeah.
Yeah. And again, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all from somewhere, dope. And
Exactly.
there's always value
I agree.
everywhere.
Yeah, you hear
So
that, Austin? Anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
there's
I'm
a city
fucking
on the
lost
planet
it.
that has live
and,
music.
and I will tell you, I'm loyal to Dallas over Austin just because by virtue of the fact that you and Kimmy are in Dallas. So you guys
Exactly.
you've already won that war.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
what have we been up to this week? You guys want to talk about what you guys have been doing? We haven't talked in a couple weeks, game wise, life wise. We want to catch everybody
Well,
up or
I beat Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Beat
How's
it.
your ending?
It was really good, actually. Yeah. I got
Happy
a good
with it?
ending for all the characters. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think I could do it. I thought there'd be at least one person that was like, everybody is like laughing and having a great time, and then one person's just like, "Oh, I died, so I'm not there with you guys." But no,
like
everybody
their
was
ghost
happy.
is just sitting around the campfire.
Yeah,
like,
little projection or something. I was like, "Oh, if only you'd made a different decision at the finale."
Halsin's like, "Oh, I died."
"Oh, man, oh, you never rescued me from Orin." Yeah, but no, that didn't happen. So everybody was alive and everybody was happy. So pretty good ending.
Cool.
That's good.
was actually- And one of the better endings in a fantasy game that I've had.
So just
I've
real
actually-
quick.
I'm still working through my Dirge run, and I've hit the Act 3 wall, and I'm scared I'm going to be a statistic of like all the people that just don't complete it because they get to
Yeah.
Act 3. I'm tired.
What would be like
you've also been through Act 3 several times, right? By now.
No, this is my second time hitting
Oh,
Act 3.
Oh, okay.
But I did everything last time. But this time I'm Dirge, so it should be better. But I don't know.
Yeah, how are you finding the Dirge playthrough? Because I think last time we talked about it, you had just begun it.
I think I played it originally to be a bastard. My plan was to just kill everybody and just be a bastard. But
Yeah.
it turns out if you do that, pretty much every character you come across in terms of your party is a goody two-shoes, and they will abandon you. They will
Right.
leave you to sit on your lonesome, and then that sucks, because then suddenly you're just like, there's no story or the quest goes. Like, if you annoy Will, you're not going to get to talk to Mazora, and she's cool as fuck.
Right.
So I've ended, like, I tried being a bit more neutral, and now I think I'm having a redemption arc. I'm becoming a good character.
Well, you don't want it to just be you and Minthara traipsing around.
No, I think I like Shadow Heart's having a redemption arc as well at the same time. It's bloody brilliant. There's no murder going on,
Damn.
but it could still happen.
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm enjoying it. It's really fun.
You could join the murder cult.
I could. That's on the table still.
Yeah, because I heard that was an option. I looked up after I finished. Because I just like killed all the murder cult people, but apparently you can like join them. I don't know.
I just
I
got
don't
to the
know
point
what that's
where like I got to the circus and I was like, oh yeah, these people.
Oh my god, I did every single side quest though that I could find, including finding all of the clown parts.
What happens if you find all of his parts? Anything?
It's not worth it. You get like some gloves and some heartfelt thanks, and that's it.
Oh,
From who?
the heartfelt thanks.
From Lucretius, the necromancer.
They're touching.
Oh,
Yeah.
does he bring the clown back?
You don't get to see it. They
Oh.
basically are like, "Oh, go somewhere else, and we'll pack up the circus now." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, sucks ass. Because some of those clown parts are like insanely hard to find. I had to
only
look
found
them
like
up.
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Walking
yeah,
around his torso and his head and like.
you would think it would be worth it because it's so difficult. It's like one of the hardest side quests in terms of like time consuming, unless you just look up exactly where they are, which is what I
Yeah.
had to do. But still, I like basically waited till the end of the game where I was like, I'm not finding these on my own naturally, so I'll just look them up. But yeah, not worth it.
Is this an Act 3 only side quest?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm still working through Act 3 and I haven't been tasked to find clown parts yet. So I was like, what? the
Oh,
fuck?
have you been to the circus?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I got a
What's
little
in,
lost in the sauce. So the last thing I did was an undead manor where somebody was
Undead.
like a thrall to some guy in the basement.
Oh, in Act 3. Oh, you walked past the circus.
Yeah, it's in
How
Rivington.
does
It's
one
like
walk past the circus? I've managed it.
You didn't get sniffed.
Yeah, you didn't get sniffed. What the hell? You haven't
I
played
tried
Baldur's Gate
not to.
3 yet.
Go back.
I haven't even lived. I
You
also
haven't even
saw
lived.
the fireworks place, and then I saw all my
Oh.
party members being like, "Oh, fireworks, blah blah blah," and I was like, "I'll do that later."
Just don't even do it, honestly.
Yeah, that building's a waste of time.
That building is, and it's buggy. I had the game freeze up on me and crash several times.
Really?
Yes,
Shit.
because one of the characters, when they move, like the place is structured in a way where it like confuses the AI and it gets stuck.
Oh,
So you
is
have
that
to,
'cause-
like,
oh, it's because the 3 layers, right? I bet it's the stairs. Like it's the
Yes, it has trouble with the stairs, and it can just get hung up there and crash your game. I had it happen like 3 times, I think.
Because I remember having one of them kept running back and forth. I was like, are they okay?
Yeah. And also, sometimes one of the characters will just like cast Ice Storm or something and explode all the fireworks and kill innocent NPCs. And so I had to reload for that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Skyrim issue of when the dragons like land, start killing NPCs. Like, oh no, it's just ruining my file.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid
So
random events.
Yeah, the firework building just sucks.
I
It's
can't
like a
even
clearly
afford it.
incomplete side quest.
Yeah, it feels like that bit felt very underdeveloped.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
I will finish it. I will finish my Dirt run.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I won't talk about that since Sinnoh's still got to play through it, but yeah. There's something at the end happened that really pissed me off, but
I don't
it
mind
wasn't like the
spoilers if you
game's
want
fault.
to.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll wait. It's not that important. I'll save my rant.
I need to hear though. I need to hear now. So
In
finish Baldur's Gate
regards-
3.
It's in regards to the Emperor.
I'll try.
Is
It's in regards to the Emperor and them doing something that doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
I think
That's all I'll
we
say.
vaguely spoke about this.
Yeah, I think I told you about it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it didn't happen in your playthrough, but it happened in
No.
mine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still scarred from the end of Dragon Age 2 when Anders, that one character who's all about like mages should be free,
Right.
we can be responsible with our powers, just suddenly turns to the character and is like, we have no choice, and turns into like a massive fucking demon. And it's like, this is so out of character for everything this character's been blabbling on about for 40, 60 hours. And then just at the end, he's like, never mind, I'm a ghoul. And everybody's like, we were right, mages are crap.
It's funny that you
Just-
say
it's-
that. There's something very, very similar to what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It
Like,
can, I
incredibly
wish
similar.
more people realize that like a bad ending can really sour the whole thing when they make this shit. Like,
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
final bite. If you had a delicious dinner and the last bite was dog shit, that's the bite you're going to remember.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great
You know?
example.
People forget that Game of Thrones had some really banger seasons and stuff because everybody's
You
still
know,
a bit like, eh.
When I watched Game of Thrones live, like it ended, and I was like, I mean, that wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't that bad. I thought the reaction was really overblown. But then recently, I went through and I binged the whole thing again because I watched House of the Dragon, which is really good, by the way.
Yeah,
Season 2
thanks
coming
for
up.
watching
that.
House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon season 1 better than Game of Thrones season 1. So I'm just saying, I didn't
Really?
think it was possible, but I'm back in. I didn't think that anything could bring me back, but House of the Dragon did. But anyway, so I like binged Game of Thrones all the way through, and then I got to the end and I was like, oh, yeah, it's not good.
There's some things that are built up for too long and they don't get enough payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
whenever
know.
I think about like Game of Thrones and like because I didn't think it was too bad season 8 either. But
Yeah.
then when I had a discussion with someone and the scene that they were like, they're like, what's your favorite scene in like the show? And I started going through
Oh my
something in
God.
my brain. And
Yeah.
the one that really stuck in my brain was the bit where Jamie Lannister is in like the hot spring
Mhm.
with Brienne.
Yeah.
And like he has his emotional outpouring because it's this really good scene.
Yeah.
And then I just started thinking about season 8. I was like, oh, I can't
Yeah.
really. Season 8 has what's the guy with the fingers? Davros?
Oh, yeah.
Davos.
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 Yeah.
That bit with the fire lady. That's in
Yeah.
season 8, isn't it? That's one of the best scenes in the entire show, but that's because of his acting.
Yeah. Well, Davos does a knockout job the whole way.
I've
through,
watched.
for
That's
sure.
one of the clips I just watch over and over again. No, because it's just
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
could do-
still good moments in season 8, but
I mean, it was just
Overall.
we could do a whole season about Game of Thrones and how it wrapped up, but I think it was just
I wouldn't be
awful.
against it.
Just
I'll
awful. I
watch it.
love, and again, I don't disagree that season 1 of House of the Dragon is fantastic, but I don't know if I would say it's better than season 1 of Game of Thrones. Like, I think that maybe I feel like there's a good chunk of Game of Thrones credibility was thrown out by the last 2.5 seasons of Game of Thrones. I think that the overall legacy is hurt very bad. And so
I
again,
hear
like,
you.
and then House of the Dragon is kind of coming in with a clean slate. and not trying to be. What I love about House of the Dragon is this trying to be its own thing. So it's almost like watching a show or a film set in the same universe, but like in a different style. So it's like we're all like, oh, this is all familiar. Westeros is familiar, and these concepts, the Maesters are familiar, and the Kingsguard is familiar. But it's like it's telling a story a different way. So it's like for me, it's almost incomparable. But
I watched them back to back because I watched House of the Dragon, and then I was like, holy shit, I can't wait for season 2. And then I binged Game of Thrones. So I watched them back to back. Yeah, I will say season 1 of Game of Thrones is not one of the stronger seasons. It doesn't get good, I would say, until season 2, 3, and 4 are like, that's like the streak right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, season 1 not Game of Thrones strongest. So I guess like,
season 1 almost a bit porny sometimes.
I think
Season
one. I think episode 1.
I remember it being kind of sleazy.
I wouldn't say season 1. I would say season 1's kind of tamer than the upcoming seasons, like 2, 3, and 4. It's probably the least horny.
I have this weird recollection of it feeling more like a kind of cheesy network TV show more at first, and then the budget goes up and it gets more like epic.
Oh,
I think
later seasons.
I think it's because like I think episode 1 has tits in it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, like I think.
I mean, Game of Thrones has a lot of like tits in it stuff as well.
That was,
but you know what I mean? Like
that was a jarring thing that I think a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is just smut." But obviously, it's
there's a lot of sex in it. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, season 1's pretty tame compared to the other ones. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was like prudish or anything. It wasn't like network television.
Right.
Yeah, but it does get more. It pushes the envelope more as it goes on.
I think that I understand what you're trying to say. Sino is like it felt. I think I know exactly what you mean when you say it felt more like a network show, and like it was kind of like because it didn't have the massive budget, but it did sort of feel almost like a little bit more indie or a little more jank. I think I'm understanding what you're saying when I'm thinking back to it because it was. I mean, it was a while back.
Well, when it first came out, they had to like work with the network a lot more, I guess. And as it became popular, they're like, "Oh, we have more control now. We can push the boundary because."
Right. By season 5,
we bring in a lot of
we're
viewers.
Game of Thrones. We do what we want. And I'm sure they were just like, yes, please, please.
Yeah, sex.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll circle back on John. Now that you brought it up, the way you brought it up and the way you're describing it, I think you're right because a lot of like some of the better characters and the better performances happened like in later seasons after those characters had time to develop. Because I'm thinking back to season 1, and a lot of characters were very, like you said, like they were undeveloped a little bit. They hadn't gone through.
Yeah,
some of the later season transitions.
Some got worse as they developed.
True.
Well, it's amazing to me too, like going back because I remember watching season 1 when it was new and being like, "No, poor Ned! Like, no, somebody save Ned. He's the good guy." And then on rewatch, I was like, "Ned's such an idiot. He's not even playing the Game of Thrones. Get rid of him. Off with his head, dude. He doesn't know what he's doing there. He's a fish out of water." Yeah. It's just interesting.
The North was going to be doomed if he was still
a little goody two shoes. Goes up to Littlefinger and he's like, "I'm going to tell on you." It's like, how do you think that's going to turn out? You dumb shit.
Not the move, bro.
Dumb shit.
Yeah, not the move.
John's like shouting at the TV, "Idiot!
No,
Get him!"
I literally was like shaking.
He's behind you.
I was like, "What are you doing?"
That's not what I would have done.
Yeah.
As he's being beheaded.
I would be king.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have found the evil guy and like not let him behead me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 this week, but I did try an iconic game for the first time and one that I didn't expect to really be into and that I ended up really, really enjoying. So I played Five Nights at Freddy's for the first time.
So what spurred that?
Basically my kid was here, my oldest son, he's just turned 18 and he's like a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan. And so I've kind of been going through this because of Spine Chill and because of the book club. And I've been playing games that are out of my wheelhouse and I've been kind of like experiencing more things. I was like, there's a lot of horror games that I just haven't experienced that are like iconic. And I've seen the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Like I watched, it was the first movie I ever watched with my fiance. And so like, I was like, you know what? I should start just like going, and I have it in my library, like from way back when. So I was like, why don't I just try it out? And I ended up really, really enjoying it, like a lot, like way more than I expected to the point that I beat the main story in one, like the first time I sat down to play it, I beat it. And then I like spent
Nice.
like another solid hour working on night 6. Like I'm pretty sure I'm going to get night 6 this week.
Night 6 is a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
I think the difficulty of the game is something that not a lot of people really talk about, but I mean, once you get to night 6 of any of the first 4 games is tough. It's kind of a fun challenge though.
yeah.
Like, I genuinely like the gameplay of like, kind of like a tower defense sort of angle where you're, protecting the office. I think it's really unique,
Yeah.
or it was unique at the time.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and again, for me, it's new to me, right? If you haven't played it, it's new to you, and it holds up. Like I played it for the first time in May 2024, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome!" Like I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, I think FNAF 1 in particular like has great atmosphere, and it's really too bad that a lot of people kind of let the 13-year-old audience kind of sweep it away as like just a fad, because I think it's a really competent game, and it's got very good pacing to it.
Yep.
Very good pacing.
Agreed.
I will one day play it.
I would love to talk about it with you when you decide to play it. That would be great. Because again, I got like hooked on it. I played it all day. I was like, "This is so cool." Very, very
It
fun.
is 10 years old, coming up in August, I believe. I think it was August 2014 that it
Maybe I'll
came
play
out.
it then because
Yeah.
I think I recently played Monstrum, and that was like basically like the 10-year anniversary or something of it, 7-year anniversary. It was weird. Like I just happened to be playing it on the
That's
year
crazy.
anniversary of it.
What are your thoughts
Catching
on
up.
What are your thoughts on FNAF, Sino?
I actually quite like FNAF. Like I said, I think it's quite compelling to play it. There's a lot of people who kind of meme on it. It became kind of cool to sort of be like, "Oh, it's so dumb because kids like it," the usual. But it was like accessible horror, I think, for a younger crowd, and I think we've seen that since then for the next decade of like a lot of kids now really like being scared by horror games, but obviously it can't be too actually jarring. So they like mascot horror a lot, for example. But I think FNAF is actually, when you play it, there's still kind of like an interesting. This is a resource management game.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yes.
It's plate spinning, isn't it? You're trying
Yeah,
to get all the
it's-
plate spinning.
And
Yeah.
it's quite simple, but there is something quite addictive about, just one more chance. I'm gonna try again. I think
Yeah.
I've got it this time.
Yeah. That's me. Like it's this close, man. One more try. One more try.
Yeah.
I got this. That was me.
I think the first game is probably the best in terms of like being a balanced experience between like atmosphere and gameplay and like pacing and everything. But if you like the gameplay, if you like the challenge of it, I think 2 provides the most hectic experience by far.
Yeah.
2 like that's always the one that I go back to, like FNAF 2 Night 6. It's the hardest Night 6 of the series, I think. And possibly the hardest night of the series just overall.
Oh wow.
It's like really hectic, and there's something crazy about like, put the mask on, look at the vent, look at that vent, look at the hallway, flash to that, check the cameras. Like you have to do it like, I mean, really quickly, and it's really fun. It never really reached those like heights of fun gameplay for me again after that. 3, I'm just gonna warn you, 3 is a slog.
I was
3's
told
probably
that.
the least favorite of everybody. So
Yeah.
you know.
I would say 3
Yeah.
was my least favorite too.
yeah.
I don't want to start. I don't want to start 2 until I beat night 6 on 1. That's kind of like my.
Oh yeah,
my
definitely.
thing. I'm gonna finish night 6, and then when I'm done, I want to go in fresh on 2. But I think that'll be this week probably. Like I'm really feeling it. So
Speaking of mascot horror games, has anyone played Indigo Park?
I've not yet. The raccoon game, I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
I
heard
checked
people
it
say
out.
that's really good actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would recommend. I didn't go in with the highest expectations. It's only chapter 1. It's one of those kind of games where the first part's free, the rest of them are gonna cost money. But I was pretty impressed. I thought it was quite charming.
I will
I would
add it to my
recommend.
library. So
Yeah.
that I
Yeah,
don't forget.
I will be
Yeah.
playing it soon for sure. I guess I'm a little scared because I've been burned so many times by a promising episode 1 of a mascot horror game, like Bendy and the Ink Machine, for example. I was really impressed by episode 1 back in the day, and then each episode preceding that was worse and worse. And then like Poppy Playtime episode 1, I was like, this is the shit. And then they just like,
It's almost like you kind of want the first episodes to like not do well because then they don't get. If they get like a
don't get
huge
dollar
influx of
signs in
money,
their
I think they
eyes.
get lazy. They start like, oh, we'll just sell the toys
Yeah,
and then won't worry about
Yeah.
the game being any good.
full toy mode. Yeah,
Can remember
So I
your
guess
video
I'm a
about the
little
Poppy
worried,
playtimes.
yeah. Poppy playtime. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
Video Park,
still
quite good.
competently made. Yeah, I'll check it out though. Heard good things.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely. I did literally just downloaded it. I'm gonna play it probably between the next week or two. So maybe we can talk about it next season. I'd love to check it out. I love mascot horror.
Yeah,
Oh.
now that I'm wrapping up my Baldur's Gate 3 series on my YouTube channel, I'm like I should like catch up on some horror stuff that I've been missing out on because
Yeah.
I want to play Indigo Park, Fierce Fathom episode 4, that Indica game.
Indica's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to play
I
some
did-
good ones.
Indica
Yeah.
surprised me. 'Cause I started off very confused and with a very like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this game for very long. And then by the end, I was like, well, very happy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of like a dark comedy more than it is like traditional horror, but it's like it's horrible
That's fine.
enough that it feels a bit like depressing enough to be like a horror game, if that makes sense. It's quite grim.
I really like comedy elements in horror. I wish it would happen more often.
Yes.
But,
no, Indica will be
yeah.
up your alley.
And I would also say Indica's one of the most charming games I've played in a little while. There's a lot of charm to it.
Nice. Yeah, I'll
Take
definitely
your journey.
be checking that one out.
But Gary, I got so many points
Me too.
by the end. Yes,
How-
I definitely.
Can you? How many did you get?
I think I was at least like level 25 or something,
Oh, because I might have got higher than you. I went a bit crazy.
or maybe level 30. Yeah. But how much did you get to?
I don't know the exact level, but I had to stop after like 5 or 10 minutes of like just leveling.
The game should have stopped you. The game should have just been like, "You've had enough.
Yeah.
Come on
Good
now."
though.
Very
Good. Something to
masturbatory.
look forward to.
On purpose, I think. You know exactly
So
what I'm talking about if you're playing
let me send
Indica.
let me send you the clip afterwards, Sino. There's a clip of my.
Oh, I've seen this clip. Is that the points? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this clip. It's a good clip.
I was so happy.
Oh,
I went for, Anyway.
Someday I'll find out what you guys are talking about.
Stop carrying on the in joke.
No, it's okay.
You've ever had that where you're a group of friends where you don't know an in joke and then finally you get it, and by the time you get it, everybody's just like, eh.
It's not
we've all
funny
moved
anymore.
on. Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
moved
we
on.
moved on. We don't really care about that.
Guys, I
anymore.
got
You're
a lot
like,
of points, right? Right?
Oh, it's
What
like,
are you talking about?
jerking off.
Yeah.
We're like, what? We're
Yeah,
not
remember,
Indica.
remember you said
dude.
that? When you said that?
What was the thing, right?
You said it
Sorry about
was like jerking off.
I'm cool now.
I watched some movies this week.
I'm
too.
members.
You guys still watch movies? Anybody watch movies?
Oh, yes.
Rarely.
I went to In a Violent Nature, the new horror movie that came out. The one that's filmed from the POV of the killer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have not
it's a
heard
story-
of that
I heard
at
about
all.
No. What is
Yeah,
this?
it's a Shudder IFC film.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not from the POV of the killer outright, but it's like it follows the perspective of the killer for the majority of the movie.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
It was
Oh, maybe not.
pretentious Friday the 13th is how I would describe it.
Oh.
Hmm.
They tried really hard.
Bit.
They do a lot of bits. It had some
Okay.
really brutal kills. The dialogue was awful, and like there's a lot of internal debate on Reddit about whether or not it's like, was that intentional because they were poking fun at slasher films? Because it's like it's filmed like art house style, but then it's a slasher. And so again, I'll let you guys make your own.
If there's debate about it, maybe it doesn't land, which is probably like a
yeah,
negative if it's not landing the comedy.
there's probably 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes of the film that was just like walking in the woods with no dialogue and no story progression.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
A plus.
it was
Would watch
definitely
again.
it definitely was kind of a slog. You guys know me, I like intentionally like everything, and I'd still give it like a B. It was
Mm.
fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it, but I probably won't watch it again. I'd watch a sequel.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Furiosa came out,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a lot of wailing
Oh,
and
yeah.
gnashing of teeth because it's just not done very well. Like people are just not going out to see it.
Well, I heard that the movie was good, but the people just aren't watching it. Like I actually heard the
that's-
reviews.
yeah.
The reviews are great, and everybody that watches this is like, "Oh, it was a fantastic film," but like nobody's paying to see it.
Yeah.
I desperately want to see it. I just
I-
can't bother to travel to the cinema.
I do want to see it. I will say, you know, I don't want to agree with all the incels online. They're just like, it's a woke movie, blah, blah. But I do wonder if Anya Taylor-Joy was the best choice to play the lead. Because the moment I saw the trailer, I didn't quite believe it. I mean, and you know, if it's got good reviews, then maybe they pulled it off. But it just seemed a little like bad casting to me, just from the outsider point of view.
I would agree that I think casting played a part, and I think it's a perfect storm of casting kind of left people uninspired, like you said, Anna Taylor-Joy, left people kind of uninspired to go see like as a headliner, and then B, basically every movie now goes on streaming like 2 weeks after it comes out in the theaters.
That's true.
So,
Theaters
so
are
if you're,
dying.
so if you're on the fence and you're like, well, I'm gonna get to watch this on Paramount Plus here in like 2 weeks, anyways. You know what I mean? Like it seems
Yeah,
like
I'd rather watch it from home anyway.
yeah.
Well, and there's also this issue of like theaters are getting more and more expensive. I think because they're getting less and less traffic, and so they're having to. Well, they don't have to, but they choose to up the price. I don't see a whole lot of movies in theaters these days. If I do, it's like a matinee, which is like cheapest possible price, right? But, yeah, that probably has a role too. Like if you want to go to the theater, you want to go see like Oppenheimer or something.
Yeah, you want to see something
like,
that's
a banger. Yeah, certified
something
banger.
Some that like that new Quiet Place film that's coming out, the Quiet Place Day One. Like that's a theater movie because those, you know, the experience is going to be like 10 times better in the theater.
I was saying that, like, Fury Road, one of the best films I've ever seen in the cinema. That was...
Oh, yeah, Fury Road. Great.
Yeah.
Great movie.
So, like, I would be like,
Yeah.
Furiosa, surely that's a good film to go see in the cinema. I would assume it's got that same energy.
I'm pretty sure it lost to Garfield.
I think
Garfield.
it did.
I think
it
Gar-
did,
I think
actually,
Garfield
sure.
did make more.
Yeah, I think
Well, then
Garfield
ultimately-
won more opening weekend.
Than Fury Road.
Furiosa.
Furiosa.
The
No,
Furiosa.
Furiosa.
no,
I was
not
gonna say
Fury Road.
Fury
Fury
Road,
Road had
like,
a great opener from what I remember.
Because I went to
Yeah.
go see that a second time because they did it in black and white, didn't they?
Hmm.
In some
Oh,
cinemas.
did they?
Like,
Oh.
Yeah, they did it in some cinemas. They showed it in black and white. I know the DVD had it in black and white as well, or the Blu-ray, or whatever. Because I've watched it a few times.
I thought we moved past that. As a
Oh,
society.
that was like years when it came. That's when it came out ages ago.
Right.
That was like the ending point of Blu-rays and stuff. People
But I
buying the
guess
films.
like, yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, I'm gonna ask a really dumb question here. Is the reason why it's not Charlize Theron again is because it's supposed to be like a prequel?
Yeah.
Okay, because
It
I was
is,
like, why
right?
is it not just
Yeah.
her again? But there must be like a story
It's a
reason,
young Furiosa, yeah.
right? So it's before she is in that movie, Fury Road. So
I mean, they...
Anya Taylor-Joy
Can they
looks
just
a bit
do it
younger.
again?
Just redo it. Do it over.
Furiosa.
I've seen Luke
redone.
Skywalker. I've seen a Mark Hamill manage to be young again. Like,
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
but
she
for an
probably
entire
could with
movie,
some-
I don't know.
Yeah, if you just do like the makeup a certain way, lighting, whatever, write the lines a certain
Yeah.
way.
I mean, Charlize Theron does not look as old as she is now. Anyway, I'm
No.
sure they could
Yeah.
have.
It's because she's
But
a
whatever.
total babe.
Well, especially like with how dirty people are in Mad Max, like
Yeah, you can hide
Oh,
it. Hide
all
it.
I-
behind
all I
your
think- all I
face.
can think about- you know,
Huh.
in the Saw, they could have just given her a backward baseball cap like they do in the Saw movies to make
Yeah,
Jigsaw
yeah, totally.
That'll do it.
young.
Yeah. Why didn't they
Yeah.
think? God, Gary, you should work in Hollywood, dude.
I know, special effects, man.
True.
Yeah, and she could talk like this. Talk like a little kid.
Hello, fellow kids.
Hey, Mad Max,
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Stop it!
Hey, Mad Max,
Stop it.
please.
Hey,
Stop.
we need that water.
I watched.
Stop wasting it.
Stop wasting it. Don't pour it on the ground.
Let me ask you guys: have you guys ever heard of a film called The Coffee Table? It's a horror flick.
I've not
No,
seen it. No.
it sounds like rubber.
Know nothing about it and go into it, and it'll blow your fucking mind. But if you learn that there's like a very, it's definitely a twist type of
It's
film.
called Coffee Table.
It's called The Coffee Table. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look into it. I'll
That's-
try and watch it. I'll see if I can find it.
you know who you guys know who Anthony Jeselnik is? Stand-up comic.
Yes.
Very dark
No.
humor. Very dark humor. I found out about it because he was on a podcast talking about how he watched the film and he thought it was like the funniest movie he's ever seen. And it's a very, very dark film.
Yeah.
The concept is very dark. So
Figured.
I was like, let me go into this and check it out. And definitely delivered. So.
Anthony Jeselnik loves doing the whole like, oh, you found this horrifying? I found it really funny.
Exactly.
Doing that
Yeah,
thing.
no, I know. But
Yeah.
the movie was fantastic though. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch it again. And
I have so many
rewatch
things to add to my
everything.
list.
Yeah, I hate to do it because I know we all have a list,
But
that's-
now it gets longer.
and that's literally everything I did this week.
I'm trying to work through my game list. I desperately need to finish Baldur's Gate 3 because I want to play Chrono Trigger, and then after that, I need to play Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger is so good.
Have you ever actually completed Baldur's Gate 3, Gary?
Yes.
Okay, so you have actually. Okay.
Yeah, I completed it and I
Yeah,
started
this is his
the
second time
playthrough.
through.
Because
Yeah.
I thought I remember asking you once if you completed it. You were like, "No, I'm in Act 3," and I was like, "How is you not completed it?" And then I got to Act 3 for myself, and I was like, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah, Act 3 takes if you decide to go exploring. God, there's a lot of
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
as John was saying, like there's a lot of unfinished kind of feeling quests, but they take time.
There's a lot of good ones too.
There are some
mixed
really
in
good
there.
banger
It's-
quests.
I'm
in
sure I'll
there.
discover it eventually if I open my eyes and realize there's a fucking circus.
Yeah, I do recommend going back to like before you get into Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, there's some good ones in Rivington
Yeah.
for sure.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
I am working through it, but yeah, I'm feeling the same thing as well, where the log continues to grow.
Can I give you a tip as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
For just to save you some time. You know, the firework place, you can skip that one, but
Okay.
you know, it's up to you. But here's another one that you can skip. Did you save the painter Oscar Fevris in Act 1?
I did. Yeah.
God,
Yes. Okay. So
Garbage reaction.
you may be thinking that there's going to be some rewarding quest line for having him still alive. So I just want to warn you: if you find him in Act 3, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
That's
Unless
cool
you're
now.
really curious, it's a long quest and it is like not worth it at all.
That's
I wish
really
I killed
weird.
him.
2 cents.
To have a quest span different acts and then
Yeah.
not have that payoff is unusual.
Yes, it's yeah. I don't know. There's one part of it I don't want to spoil, but
Can I spoil like part of the prize?
Yes, please do, Gary.
So at the end, he was like, "I'll paint you,"
Yep. Okay, this is exactly
And
what
I
I was
was-
going to say.
and I was like, "Oh, sweet, he's gonna paint me. Cool. I'll at least have that I can
Gary
put
does that in
somewhere
real
camp."
life.
Yeah, yeah. And then he painted me. I was like, and he handed it to me. I was like, okay, let's have a look at it. And he painted Shadowheart.
Yeah,
I was like, what
no,
the fuck is this?
It was like portrait of a hero or something, and I was like, wow. And I looked at it, and the icon is just like a shadowy face, and I was like, oh, well, how do I look at it? And so of course I dropped it on the ground, and it was a picture of Halsin. And I was just like, I went through all
was he in
that
your party
shit.
at least?
No,
At least
he was
Shadowheart
he was
in
being
mine.
tortured in Orin's murder temple. I was like, why'd you draw this? He's not a hero. So much
but
bitch
is there-
right now.
Wait, it must have some sort of metric for who it chooses.
I
I
have,
don't know
I
why I chose Shadowheart. Like, you can at
I
least
have
choose
no
the one
idea
that
why.
you're trying to like romance.
yeah.
When I chose Shadowheart, I was, and the best bit was I was going down her other path, so she'd changed her hair. That's not how he painted her.
It was just her normal icon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he just did like, it was like Halsin's icon. I was so
And
angry.
that is an example of they didn't finish it.
yes. But even up until that point, the quest line is like,
It's
it
such a
is
long.
such a slog. It's
the
a
fights
slog.
aren't even fun.
The
Okay,
fights are
so-
terrible. Yeah.
There's an article for 2023 here on PC Gamer where somebody tried to do this quest, and the image for this is just like 9 portraits of Halsin. This person's like, he just keeps drawing Halsin. I can't get him to draw anyone else. It's just Halsin every time. But apparently there was like a fix afterwards where since then they've probably fixed it to make it so that he draws someone in your currently active party at random.
in John's
Because
case.
it just happened to me like a couple weeks ago.
But
so.
was Halsin in your party at that point?
no,
I can't
no.
imagine you using Halsin, John.
Like I said,
much.
he wasn't even at camp. He was like, yeah.
What a hero.
The painter never met Halsin.
No, they never met. They literally never met him. Didn't make any sense.
That's really fucking funny. Yeah, Halsin is not a character I could see you ever caring about very much, John. I mean, I romanced
Nice.
Halsin, and I was like, yeah, you're not that interesting, are you really?
I liked Halsin. Halsin keeps hitting on me. Like I was almost complete with the game,
He does not. Take
and
no.
and he was just like, so you and me, and I had already rejected him once. And then I was like, I'm not interested. And he was like, but I thought you were dropping hints. And I was like, no, I wasn't.
You were
He did up
dropping
the
hints.
entire playthrough. Yeah, he was very.
Look at what you're wearing.
Oh no.
You're making him sound like an incel.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
No. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he just couldn't. And I was like, I'm literally about to go defeat the final boss, Halsin. Don't have time for this.
You've already romanced Karlach by that point.
Yes, we had been
You
on
made
a
it very
date.
clear.
We had consummated. I mean, it was pretty official.
I thought the game was very thingy about that type of stuff, though, where it's like you could tell quite a lot of the time, like with Raphael, for example, there's that whole the incubus in Raphael's palace or whatever you would want to call it, house of bullshit, and the incubus is like, I could look like a woman if you want, and the game is very like you can choose whatever you prefer if you would ever want to be with incubus in the first place, or I could look like Raphael is an option, which I don't know if that actually happens or not because I wasn't clicking that, but
I'm going to test it this time.
I
felt like
unfortunately
there's-
didn't even get to talk to them.
oh no, really?
Yeah, because I walked into their room and they were like, what are you doing here? And I was like laughing. I was like, they look like Raphael. Raphael fucks himself. Ha ha ha. You know, and then I was like, I've come here to kill you. And they were like, the fuck you will. And then they started fighting
it.
me. That was it. And I was just like,
well, in fairness,
oh.
you did tell them you came to kill them.
Yeah, but have you ever talked to a devil? They like banter like that. I was expecting them to be like, oh, you do you? You mortals are so funny. You mortals, I thought they were going to like banter with me, but instead they just jumped right into fighting. Doesn't make any
I
sense.
can't believe these people who I said to them, I'm going to kill you, then tried to fight for their life immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, imagine
What's
saying to
with
Raphael,
that?
I'm going to kill you. You think he'd be like, you die now, mortal. No, he would banter with you about it.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
but
with Raphael. but-
Raphael's a lot more powerful than
Well, they're a
No.
demon. I mean, they were.
What's the deal with incubuses?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they looked like Raphael. You'd think they'd have a little bit of his personality. Imagine telling Mazora you're going to kill her.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
I
saying.
love Mazora.
True, yeah. She wouldn't
She's
immediately
the
be
best.
like, I've gone hostile.
Apparently, you can
Yeah.
romance her.
She did proposition me.
What? I need to get
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I said no.
Carrie's like, that's disgusting.
but-
Tell me more.
Yeah.
I love
But I
Mazora.
did-
She's great.
I did have a save I can go back to anytime I want to. Might do that at some point.
That's like my favorite thing in the Dirge run is to be like, "Shut up, Will."
Oh,
He's
yeah.
always talking.
Yeah, there was one point where I was like going through a quest with Will, and he just kept chiming in every 2 seconds. He was just like, they do say back in the here's a quote from the book, and I was just like, shut up, Will, and he was just like, duly noted, I'll stop talking, and I was like, thank you,
That was a
chiming
great
in every
impression.
second. Peanut gallery, yeah, he's always chiming in like it's that's they say, and I'm like, I don't care about your little moral musings, Will.
He sucked.
He's just a bit of a yapper.
Yeah, bro be yapping over there.
He is yapping. Speaking
Well-
of yapping, should we yap about... Actually,
About
before we do
books.
the book club, should we yap about Killer Clowns a little?
Doug's hat.
Doug's hat? Let's bring Doug back into the situation here.
Yeah,
Doug hasn't played a lot of
well,
BG3.
yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
No, you're fine. I did like the first 20 hours and then took a break. So, but you guys have your fun. You guys were enjoying yourself. I had meditation that I could do while you guys were talking about Baldur's Gate. But
Meditation's over. We're now
Yeah.
in Doug's realm.
time to check back in with some ASIM. Yeah, so Killer Clowns came out in advanced access on May 28th.
Right.
And I have already played about 30 hours, which I think you guys know it would have been more than that, but I had a lot going on between my birthday and some DVD stuff that I was doing for my birthday. And then I had my fiance was in town. We were looking for an apartment. So, and I took my family to a baseball game. We did like
It's
a lot
okay,
of,
Doug. We forgive you.
Yeah, we forgive you for only having 30 hours in the
Thank
game.
you.
Only
But
30.
yeah.
We forgive you.
so I would have obviously played a lot more, but so far I have been having a fantastic time with the game. I'm very happy with it. If I was going to TLDR summarize Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, I would call it a love letter to Friday the 13th, the game.
That's what I've
It's-
heard. I've heard that from a lot of people.
The influence is very clearly there with the ambiance, with the engine, with the music. It's got that classic feel, but they took a lot of the problems that Friday the 13th had and they've solved those problems in a lot of ways. So right out of the gate, five unique maps, and the maps are fully RNG. I don't know if you guys recall on Friday the 13th where you'd have certain areas where like the propeller would spawn for the boat, and it would only spawn in this area. And if it spawned there, then another item would spawn at a different part of the map. Like there was always like logic to
There's
the
a
spawns.
pattern.
Exactly. There was logic. So
Yeah.
you could like figure out where stuff was based on where other stuff was. If the gas was here, the keys would never be here, and vice versa. Killer Clowns has none of that. I have literally spawned in at one point. I went to the boat and the gas was on the dock, and there was a fuse, a spark plug in the ice chest next to the boat, which means that I was out of the game in like a couple minutes.
Wow, wow.
Which would, it would feel bad if any of it mattered, but none of it matters because it's actually a pure party game at this point. Like you don't get to select what side you play on. You don't even get to select a preference. You just go in and you get what you get. So you can go in with a group and then end up with, if you're in a group of 3, we found that having a group of 3 seems to be the ideal way to queue up because you can get clown where everybody's a clown at the same time. And then they'll bounce you back and forth between that and survivor. But like sometimes it splits you up. I was with 3 yesterday. And at one point, one of our guys was a clown and the other 2 of us were survivors. So it really doesn't have like a set way.
Humans.
Sorry. Yeah. Humans. What I'm getting at is they've eliminated the ability for people to fucking ruin it immediately. I'm not saying they won't ruin it eventually.
Yeah, no, that's
but for
good.
right now,
Yeah.
you just can't stack 3 and like dominate as clown. You can't stack 7 and dominate as survivor or as human because it just mixes things up. So it's fully RNG, and you don't even you can't choose your class once you get into a match. So like you decide if you're going to be like an athletic style human, if you're going to be a heroic style human, or you decide you're going to be a tank style clown or a tracker style clown, all that stuff, you lock that and then you go. So you can't there's no way for you to like optimize like meta wise and be like, okay, well, I'm going to pick this character. You pick that character based on this map. Like it's fully like party mode core. So it's awesome.
That's
voice
great.
comms are assumed. Yeah, it's great. I can't think of a genuine complaint outside of it's not an early access game, but it is advanced access. So there is still some jank with skill checks are a little weird. It's got performance issues for some people. I think that at its core, the game design wise, I think that I don't have any complaints. I think that obviously there's some stuff that's a little imbalanced, and then they're already working on that. They have a massive day 1 patch planned for June 4th, which is like the actual release date of the game. And they've identified all these problems that the community has been complaining about. And they're like, this is getting addressed. This is getting addressed. This is getting addressed. So, and if the rumors are to be believed, there's a battle pass plan and there's already like 180 plus cosmetics that they're going to be adding to the game. They're already in the game's files. Like they're just waiting to be unlocked. So whether that be like in-game progression or a store, I don't know what that's going to turn out to be, but I have a lot of reasons to be optimistic. And this is not classic Doug stuff where I'm just like, it's an ASIM. It's going to be great. Like this is genuine. Like yesterday there was 14,000 people watching on Twitch, and this is a game that's still in advanced access. You can only get the game if you pre-order the game, and the price tag, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, the price tag is pretty steep for an ASIM, right?
How much is it? 40?
$40. $40.
Yeah, I think so.
Same
stock.
price as TCM.
Oh, really?
Was TCM 40 in launch or was it 30? I thought it was 30.
It's 40, I think. I think
Oh,
it
okay.
may have had like a release date
Right.
discount, but it's $40 on Steam now.
I think it was. Yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Okay. But yeah, so I don't think I missed anything, right? I think we're good.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the
Sounds
quick,
like a
quick and dirty
banger.
breakdown. Yeah, it's a banger game.
I mean, I'll
fantastic.
admit I'm particularly excited to hear Sinnoh's point of view, but could I just have a quick chime in of my thoughts just to balance that out a little bit?
Have a crack, dude.
So the 2-minute escape thing, I had that as well. So when you escape in Killer Clowns, you can't just leave the match if you're a human. You have to wait out the 15-minute timer, and you can do little mini games where you can like support your teammates and give them items and stuff, which is a kind of a cool idea. But it's also you're stuck in the match for 15 minutes, which
You're not. I don't want to interrupt, but you're not. No, you're not.
Can I leave?
The devs confirmed that it will give you your XP after the fact. It doesn't show because they don't collect final XP. You'll earn more XP if your team escapes, for instance, if you win, even if you died. So you actually get the XP after the match is concluded. So
because like it made it because it gave me my achievement for playing my first match only after I waited 15 minutes in the second match I played.
that could be a bug with the achievement, but again, the devs have confirmed, even if that's the case right now, that's an early.
Because I didn't level up in my first match.
They said that the XP is collected server side, and you will always get it even if you leave early.
Okay, it could have been delayed then.
They'll have a better way to visualize that.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good because I don't want to stick around for 15 minutes at the.
No.
I think the rounds feel very long at 15 minutes for the most part. Probably 5 minutes too long.
Yeah, 50 minutes is like a long DVD match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the game is fine. That's how I would describe it. I think it does a lot of things fine. I think, for example, the combat with the character controllers, I don't think is particularly pleasant. Especially swinging your melee weapons. You can charge up your attack to do a melee thing, and that's naff. Like, it's so hard to actually hit it because it's just like, to me, feels really janky and messy. So you're better off just like spamming your swings and attacks, and like it just doesn't. For me, the interaction, like the combat between the two sides, isn't particularly fulfilling. And I also found that a lot of the time when I was playing it, I was just wandering around looking aimlessly for spark plugs or key cards or whatever. As human is the weaker of the two sides for me in terms of like most of the time I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. Yeah, I think the game solidly was fine for me overall. I think the maps are quite big. I would maybe shrink them down a little bit because again, I didn't really think I was interacting with the clowns very much some matches. I was just like, because you're gonna get human 7 out of 10 of your matches. And I was just wandering around looking for spark, but I was like, I'm kind of bored. Like, there's just nothing happening. I want to get into a chase or something. Then I'm just playing stupid if I just run at the clowns to feel something. And then like I think one of the times I finally got to play clown the first time, and there was already 2 people that waited for me to spawn in, I guess, and they just killed me immediately, which I thought was quite funny. But I can see I already smelt like what could happen in moments in this game, so I'll be interested how it plays in like a month when casuals maybe settle down and we start to see people figure out more of the ups and downs and maybe how to, because the problem with these games is there's always going to be the people that come in just to spoil it for others. The Midnight Ghost Hunt effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the game is fine so far. I really want to play it with people and see how that feels because I've only played solo so far.
Can you queue up as a 4 stack?
You can queue up as 7 stack if you want. You can queue up as a 10 stack.
It splits you up
randomly
to
throws you around. Yeah, you can queue up with as much as you want.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Friday the 13th like lobby system then. Right?
Similar, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I will agree. The jank combat, that when I mentioned some of the jankiness is getting ironed out. The hitboxes can be weird. I think that you guys remember how like clean Texas Chainsaw was with like we would play with like you guys in the UK and us in the US, and you never really seem to have like latency issues. That is not the case with Killer Clowns as of right now. There's some definitely hit registration and latency issues that they'll need to iron out. So I can't disagree with you there. I do think your experience might be better when you play with friends, like you said, because some of that downtime will be alleviated by hanging out with your friends and goofing around.
But I will always say, if a game is only like really fun when I'm playing with my friends, that's not the benefit of the game. That's the benefit of my friends. Like, I'm not going to give them points because they're letting me experience time with my friends.
Right. I do think the game can be rewarding on solo queue when you get more comfortable in the game too. Like once you figure the game out a little bit better, I think. Again, I have a lot of fun playing solo or with people. And then this is still me. And I think you and I, Gary, we talked about this a little bit off camera, right? But like, I do think that like, you were never impressed with Friday the 13th again. No,
I didn't have a hype.
You didn't like it. You didn't like it. You didn't like it when it was new. You didn't like it when it was old. You didn't like it. So it's going to be a hard sell when a game is essentially taking the spirit of this game and reskinning it with some changes. Like, I don't know if it could just be like a you're not your thing.
Yeah, it could certainly be that. I mean, like in my experience of playing it, I think $40 is a bit steep for it. I think that's quite an expensive thing. And if they are bringing in a battle pass that they expect me to pay money for, I think $40 on a battle pass is kind of taking the piss a little bit. Like battle pass, Fortnite makes sense. Free game, battle pass. That's how they make their money.
Yeah.
If you're gonna if this battle pass is gonna cost,
well,
I'm gonna. We'll have to. I don't know if that is. Maybe it'll just be part of the game. But yeah, $40 to me. I think it's like a $20 game.
I just think that games are changing now, man. And games are more expensive. I don't know if $40 is to me. A sticking point. You know, like, and I don't think it's been a sticking point to this period of time. Like, there are so many people playing. Queues are
But, like-
24/7 rapid fire. I wish we could see Steam charts. I'd really love to know what the actual numbers are because only pre-orders can play right now, and the game is like fully populated, and Twitch is blown up. And of course, it's week 1 of a new game, and all the DVD people are like, "Thank God, something else." You know, so it'll
We'll
probably
be back playing DVD
Yeah,
2 weeks
they will
from now.
be. They will be for sure.
I was. I mean, I will say, I was kind of surprised by how many DVD people were back to DVD the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like,
it's not going to be for everyone too, because remember, Gary,
They
remember everybody. Sweaty people are not going to be able to do this game the way they want to do this
exactly.
game. This is
Yeah.
not a sweaty game, and this is not a game where you can stack the deck in your favor.
mm,
You can a little. I was playing with a few friends that are really good yesterday, and we're able to get some pretty clean escapes because there's 3 of us that know what we're doing. But in the terms of like the DBD style, where you can play blight win streak of 1500 or like 4-man outs with your Swift all day long, you know, like that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is kind of, it's not really doable.
Right.
You can go a match without ever seeing like an item that was useful. You know,
Yeah.
it's just because RNG being
which
RNG.
is fun.
Yeah, well, it can also be really like you just get all the coolest stuff. I mean, it's just random, you know,
Yeah.
party game. So-
Tino, what was your? Because you've played it for a little bit. I was
I had
particularly intrigued to hear your thoughts.
I had a
Same.
fucking awful first impression of the game. Truly terrible. I went into a round, walked forward, like, I'm talking like 5 steps, started opening a container, 2 clowns on me. I die immediately. Then it's like, do the mini game. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this stupid mini game. So I quit out. Go back into another lobby. It chucks me into a game. I'm like, cool. I see there's someone beside me, and then I walk forward 2 steps, 2 clowns on me. I die immediately. I'm like, what the fuck is this fucking game? Like,
Is it
I was-
dropping you into like lobbies that were already going? 'Cause you
No,
can
these
join-
were new matches. It
Okay,
was new
wow.
matches both times, but it was like spawning me right beside clowns. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, this game is stupid.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got put into a lobby that was like just halfway through. And I was like beside a building. But I was like,
Wait,
okay,
what?
well,
That happens.
yeah, it'll drop you in sometimes if people DC. It'll drop you into a match.
yeah,
in
it's a game
progress.
that's already going on.
Ooh, I would not like that.
No, I
Not
don't
the
like it
best.
either. No, I'm not a big fan of it. But I was like, okay. And I managed to survive for a
mean-
bit longer. But
I get that they're wanting to prioritize, like, you know, getting you into a match as quickly as possible, and also not letting a disconnect ruin a match for the people in the middle of the game. But it does feel bad to be the one dropped in.
I wish it
can I
gave
play
me
devil's
like a
advocate?
bone. It could give a bone, like so you can start with something because you go in, you've got no
Yeah,
items, and
it would
like,
be
stuff's
nice.
already kicking off, and it's like
That's what I'm saying.
It'd be
So-
nice if it started you with maybe like a weapon and a heal. Like
Yeah.
just like when you first come in. I
an energy drink so you can sprint with stamina
Yeah.
and a bat.
I strongly agree because like I love that they drop you in because again, like you said, people in this game, a lot of DVD players are playing Killer Clowns, so of course they're rage quitting constantly and being upset every time things don't go their way.
Yeah,
and
true.
so
True.
so then you're gonna end up having short lobbies and it's gonna feel miserable. And then again, if you get dropped in, it sucks for you getting dropped in, but like for the most part, like the matches you don't usually get dropped into one that takes 15 minutes either. Usually it's over pretty quick. You're back.
Hmm.
And there's no DC penalties. If you get dropped in, you can just leave and go find a lobby that's not a drop-in lobby. Yeah, I mean, there's never a DC penalty, so you can just say, nope, I don't want to start in the middle, and you lose nothing.
So, did you get to play Clown at all?
yeah, so I kept playing. I eventually had fun with the game. I had a good time, and I kind of queued up with a friend. I played a little bit of Clown. Yes, the humans can absolutely beat the fuck out of the clowns. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do get killed off as a clown, and then you have to wait 45 seconds on the timer to respawn. I think that might change depending on if it's like a full clown wipe or not, but
Full clown
Yeah.
wipe.
full clown wipe. I know, right?
I love the terminology already.
There's like a little thing that appears on the screen when that happens. But I found with the clowns, it's very difficult for the humans to fight back. If 2 clowns are on you, especially if one of the clowns has the taunt move.
Yeah,
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
the
make-
taunt
that's
you
an
have
it's
to
that's
them
an
towards
that's
you.
a, it's an instant kill if you have
Yeah,
even
if they
even
hit
one
you
v
with that,
even
you're
one v
pretty
one even 1v1 if you know how to play as clown you will 100% if you're one clown and one human that's a kill every time 100% of the time.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of these games though where it's a bit like if you're in a certain area where the clowns don't go, it can be rather boring because you're just kind of walking around and then you just get out. And if you are in an area where the clowns go, it can feel a bit like annoying, but yes, you can fight back. Sure, it's definitely one of those games where you have to run until you get some weapons and some health down, which I don't completely dislike. But overall, it's like there's this thing about ASIM games where a lot of ASIM games is a lot of downtime. There's a lot of you're dead, so you have to wait until you respawn. So you have to play this mini game, or you have to. There's a lot of just like not having agency in ASIMs, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're not really taking off. It's because there's so many other games you can play out there where, yeah, you do have like a respawn timer, but most of the time you're doing something. But it feels like in ASIM games, if the other side is winning really hard, sometimes you feel like you're spending a lot of time being downed, being on the hook, respawning. You know, there's a lot of this type of stuff in ASIM games where you're kind of like waiting before you're allowed to get back into the action, but it's like too much of that. And I feel like with Killer Clowns, you can spend like 7-8 minutes of a match being dead, spectating people to see if they get a res on you or not. And it's like I just feel like there's other games you can play where you're in it a little bit more.
Or you can spend 7 to 8 minutes in the game and having nothing really happening. You're just trying to find a
you
spark
could be like kind
plug.
of crouching around trying to find a spark plug so you can get out by the boat. Like, it's okay. I don't hate the game, but it's like I don't like it as much as Friday the 13th. I think Friday the 13th had a more. It's some of the similar problems, yeah, but it's a more. Like, maybe the 15-minute thing is a bit long. And there's more kind of fights around some of the escape points, where sometimes in Killer Clowns, it's like, people just walked off the bridge, so they've escaped. And you would just not know that as a clown because you're too busy fighting the others.
Okay. So
yeah.
That's one question, because I haven't played any of the game. How is the escape process? Because I get that you can escape very quickly, but is it still? It's not just like a one and done thing of like we've charged up the thing. Let me
break it down. Let me break it down for you. All right.
Let me break it down.
I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm an expert, man. I got 30 hours, bro. I've been playing this game nonstop. All right, there are.
You hadn't mentioned that.
Each exit can have up to 3 people escape from it. So if you can get the boat ready, 3 people can escape on the boat. The tunnel or the bridge are the same thing. There's a tunnel or bridge depending on the map. That's a 3-person exit if everybody crouch walks out. Because as you go out that exit, it uses up durability on the exit. And when the bridge breaks or the tunnel collapses, that's done. Nobody else can leave from that now. And so again, if you're there alone with your people, you can get out. But like a one person runs out, they escape, and then it blows it up. So no, 2 people can't leave from there.
There was a really funny, like someone was being really cocky and waiting by the exit door, and they were like trying to shoot me. And when they tried to leave, I think they realized, because this is before I knew like about the bridge breaking, and they couldn't leave. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to murder them.
Delicious.
Justice.
Yeah.
Justice. Well, then you see who your friends are, man. People can get greedy and they collapse the bridge and then we all die. And then there's the teleporter. You have to get 2 spark plugs and you get the teleport charge. 3 people can leave from that. And then there's the bunker, which 3 people can leave through the bunker and then it shuts down. And
that's only like a 10-second window for them to leave through, I think.
Once the bunker's on?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
10 seconds.
I'm not sure. I know people 99 the bunker sometimes. So I think there's probably
I think it's like a 10-second and then it locks again.
And then, there's at the very end of the game, the last minute, it gets down to counting down to Clownpocalypse, which is like the whole map gets orbital strike. It's called Clownpocalypse,
ironically.
And it's like an orbital strike where the whole map blows up and everybody dies. With the 30-second mark, an ice cream truck busts through one of the exit areas, totally RNG, and you can escape. It's like a hatch. You can escape through it if they don't stop you at the door. So it's like the last 30 seconds you can escape. And 7 people can escape in the last 30 seconds if the ice cream RNG is good and you end up in the right spot. So I think that's all the win conditions.
I will say to the Clown Apocalypse thing, there's a lot of charm to the game. So like there's clowntalities as well.
Yeah.
Like a brutality. And it's very charming.
That's good. Yeah. Humor was a big part of the movie. So
yep.
This is good. The reason I ask about escape routes is because like that was like the high point of Friday the 13th for me was like, okay, you got the car, repaired, but you're not done yet. Now you got to drive it out. And that was often the best part of matches was, Jason, slamming his fist down and breaking the car and like, we gotta repair it. And like everybody getting out of the car, like, do you have a gun? Do you have a pocket knife? Whatever. You're just trying to get out of there. It was like the best part of the match. And I feel like no asymmetrical horror game has really matched that thrilling feeling of escape since. And so I was curious if, since it is like a spiritual successor in a lot of ways, if they mimic that at all, but it doesn't sound like it.
No, definitely there are moments like that. Yeah, absolutely. Like when you get like your team down to the boat, You got somebody who's putting in the fucking spark plug, and then the clowns show up, and you have like your team fighting them while you're finishing up the boat and jumping people out. When you get pushed at the bridge or the tunnel, you can't run. So if the clowns show up, they just like, you're like, oh my God. Like I've had so many fun moments where we're like all crouch walking and the clowns show up and we're like, oh my God, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? And then somebody panics and runs and it collapses and then we're all stuck. Like there's things like that.
I think what John's describing is like a thwarted plan. Like there's this final run to the finish line, which can get like the car can get broken. And then you're like, well, fuck.
Gotta like this is it. I don't know.
Yeah. Whereas like when you, because I thought when you get the boat powered, you might have to drive the boat or something, but you don't. You just drive off.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that thing in Friday the 13th with the car where it's like you're moving across the map. So there's like sometimes you might encounter other people as well, and it feels like something is going on quite centrally within the map where it's quite common for other people to be aware that that's happening. Whereas the exits in Killer Clowns with the bigger map, sometimes it's like there might be a big fight at the boat, but it's a lot easier to just not really be aware of that because you're somewhere totally random, completely different. Where I guess it's because it doesn't have to move through the map. It's more likely that people will just walk out of the bridge. And as a human in particular, maybe as a clown you're more aware of that, but sometimes as a human you might not be aware of that.
I think one time I finally found the spark plug for the boat and I went to it and it'd gone and I was like, I didn't even realize it left.
Right.
Oh, this spark plug's useless.
Right. Yeah.
My plan.
No.
Yeah, once you learn kind of like spawn areas, you can figure out because like the spark plug also gets used in the teleporter. And, like you kind of go around and see if you can find a different exit. And a lot of the fun is like running into people and be like, "What you got, man? What'd you find?" And like, okay, well, let's move over here and see if we can get the
see if we can get the vault going. I don't like listen to their voices because
that'll hurt the
children. Their voices annoy me.
That'll hurt the experience a lot if you don't use voice comms because like that is a lot of the charm and a lot of the appeal for me is like interacting with strangers and randoms.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a ping system again, kind of like TCM. So it's like you have to talk to people if you want to play this game. Really, if you want to coordinate and do that, you're gonna have to talk to strangers. Which isn't a W for me. I still think that's a.
And again, you can still get away with just playing with your friends and not really using voice comms. But then, like you said, that's not the game. That's your friends that are sitting down with you. So.
Yeah, last time I played, I had a Russian child trying to talk to me. And then at one point I was like, chat, what are they saying? And they were like, oh, he's definitely saying some slurs now. Or he's definitely saying some pretty offensive stuff.
If only the VHS developers had like passed on their technology to prevent
magic technology. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, yeah, the magic technology where nobody will be toxic in the VCs of
nobody will be toxic in the
VHS, as I was told.
Yes.
Damn.
That's too bad. I guess that just went to the grave with them, huh?
Shame.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's okay, but I think I like Friday the 13th more. And
I think that ASIM people are going to really love it. And I think that if you're not like an ASIM ASIM apologist like myself, you might enjoy it time to time. I don't think it's for you guys as much as it's for me because I'm an ASIM guy. But I do think that it's better than. Would you guys agree that it's better than you expected?
No.
Or met expectation?
I do think there's some pretty cool. Like, I think it's quite competently made. I think it looks quite nice.
It's very pretty. I like the level design.
Yeah. I quite like the whole meeting point thing as well for the humans, where you get an objective very early to go to a meeting point that has resources that then pings where the exits are. So like that is an idea that somebody's had to like try and funnel the player experience so that you meet up with other people and then you do stuff. Now obviously has taken some QA or some kind of playtesting, because I imagine at the beginning people just kind of like wandered off by themselves. But I don't like being chucked into a game that's halfway through randomly. I feel like you can sort of get killed off quite quickly, and then there's a lot of waiting sometimes depending on what happens, because like obviously if you're quite good at the game you can run away from the clowns for a while, and I've done that before. But like if two clowns come to you and one of them does the beckon thing and the other person just kills you, that's it, or even solo, you said, Doug.
Yeah,
so it's like
true. It doesn't unlock.
You also said
in the game,
you said this is a game for you, but you also said it's more like a party game. So it's like, is it for people who are really into ASIMs, or is it for people who want a party game?
ASIM in general. I just think it's got the ASIM formula.
I think there's a little bit of, I think DBD people are gonna love it because they're desperate for like a break from DBD. But I don't think it's as good as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think it's as good as VHS. It's certainly not as good as Spirits Unleashed. I think this
Gary's
is a
what you
very
love.
mid. Yeah, I think it's a very mid game. Yeah, it made me miss Prop Night, or Prop Night.
Oh yeah.
That was my thoughts of Killer Clowns, and I certainly don't think it's worth $40. Especially they're going to add a battle pass as well for more money. I think $40 is a lot to ask for Killer Clowns, and I think it's a fine game, but I just think $40 is a lot. You can.
Gary
there's a lot
was
of
so
other games you
excited
can
for
get.
it.
Yeah.
You're so on the
Rewind a
Clowns
year.
train.
I was like theory crafting how the mechanics were going to be.
I will say, just as like sort of an aside that we don't have to go down too deeply if you don't want to, but did y'all see how much Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be?
How much is it?
Oh, it's like 70 or something, isn't
It's
it?
70 for the standard edition, and it's I think 90 for the deluxe edition or something like that. It might be 80, but that's because we were talking about prices going up and stuff, and I think that's because I mean this is not gonna be a long game. This is gonna be like 7 hours, maybe 6. I don't know, maybe even shorter than that. 70 is, I'm not entirely against it, honestly, but like the deluxe edition being like 80, 90, it's like, woof, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And the deluxe edition just has like, I think like 2 skins, and it also has 48-hour early access, which they're doing.
That's going to be, I think that's going to be, it's not even early. They're calling it advanced access. And I think that's going to be a thing.
Is this the new thing?
That's going to be a thing we're all going to have to fucking pay for now.
No,
man. They're going to be like,
I
you
was
can
just
lay it
like,
a week early if you get.
I'm going to have to do that because they're not going to send me a code.
No.
And I'm going to need to get on it, as soon as possible. So 2 days early, I'm going to have to buy that, which for me, it's a business expense, but still, it's not free,
True.
See, I'm a firm believer. I like $5 an hour. If I can get an hour of pure joy out of something, $5 is a good value for a game, which is why Stardew's an amazing value. Baldur's Gate 3, I've made money. Killer Clowns, I'll break even because we'll play it together and stuff. But I'm not sure everyone is going to put like 8+ hours into Killer Clowns. I think people will. I had people in chat saying thank you for playing this, so I don't have to buy it to find out that I don't want to play it.
Wow.
Like no, because people weren't impressed either in chat with it. That's probably my energy being like, this is kind of mid.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna argue.
gonna-
It's like your community has kind of been transitioning away from ASIM, and your opinion is going to be the one that's going to make them feel like, what does Gary think? Like you're an influencer, and I'm not saying that you're like brainwashing or whatever. And you weren't like poo-pooing it.
Well, no, but people also don't want to argue.
And you're not. This fucking game is trash. But you're just kind of like, eh.
Well, I didn't say that. Like I wasn't
feeling
saying that. I'm just like,
saying you're just like
I mean,
not really liking it. So
yeah, I was just like, it feels fine.
I think,
But
I would love to make I think it's going to do a lot better than anyone in this call expects. I think it's going to continue to.
I would like to point out right now, if you don't have video, that Doug is unironically wearing a Killer Clowns from Outer Space
hat
cap.
Yes, for our audio-only listeners.
Right.
Like, I bought this game.
Came with the merch on here.
I bought the hat before the game was even announced. I'm a fan of the movie. I bought this hat years ago. But what I'm saying is, I think it's very easy to predict an ASIM will fail. And I think it's very ridiculous
because it's usually
they keep getting easier and easier to predict.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so again, I'm not talking about you guys. When I say this, I'm not talking about anybody in this call or on this podcast. But I see these people, game's gonna fucking die. And I'm like, wow, cool.
Well,
is the sun gonna come up tomorrow? Like you don't have to act like I told her, like I was saying it from the beginning. It wasn't gonna succeed. Like no one cared. I predicted this.
No one
it's a very easy thing to predict. I think this one's going to impress you guys eventually. I think that at some point, even if you don't circle back and say I was wrong, I think that it's a good game. It's a fun game. I think that if nothing else, you'll be like, well, people really did enjoy this. It really is doing better than I expected it to do. I think a year from now,
going up to people
this game
who are standing outside looking up at gray clouds, and somebody's like, it's going to rain. And you're like, it's so easy to predict that it's going to rain. Here's my prediction. Sunshine.
I'm not, because that's the thing. I'm not predicting. I don't think it's going to be a major player in the realm of Dead by Daylight, or even in the realm of like a secondary major player. I just think it's going to have, if Texas Chainsaw is continuing development past the 1 year mark, this game's got a year in it for sure. Texas
Hmm.
Chainsaw has added. This game's already looking to add roughly half of what Texas Chainsaw has added completely by like the first month, the first patch. The first patch is like a bigger patch than they released in the first 6 months of
don't get me wrong.
Texas
Like,
Chainsaw.
I have no doubt that Ilphonic will handle this well. Like Spirits Unleashed is a great example of a game that was it's just, they continued to just W after W after W.
Mhm.
But you know, I don't really play Spirits Unleashed that much, and I like the game.
Yeah. It's not a good Twitch experience. This one's a better Twitch experience, I think, than Ghostbusters was. I think it's easier to watch. I've had a lot of people, I've streamed it a lot, and a lot of people have been like, this is a fun game to watch. This is one that I enjoy watching. I like watching this a lot more than I ever did Ghostbusters or Project Playtime, for instance, which hasn't had an update since last year, October last year. So that one's pretty dead, I think. I don't know. I don't think
And I
that
remember you saying how it was going to do so well because of the battle passes when the second one was about to come out.
Yeah, well, anyways, I'm not. I feel like I've character developed. I've developed my character more, and I'm not sitting here saying,
You do seem more on the like less. It's going to be incredible.
yeah, I don't think and this might be the peak. It might not get much better than this, and it might die off, and it might slow down, and they might make some questionable decisions.
This is the last one, isn't it?
Last what?
Like this is the last new ASIM that has any hype.
No,
That's a
Car-
big chance.
we've heard about,
Carnival Hunt.
I
Is
forgot
having
that
is having an
game.
alpha, and then they're relaunching last year this month. Forest Hills, but no.
Okay, right. So as I was saying, Killer Clowns is the last one
They-
that has any like hype about it.
Last one announced, yeah. Last announced game that's hyped.
Didn't they republish that game last May?
Something like that. Yeah. We'll talk
What
about
have
it
they
more
been
once it comes out.
Doing.
How
What
many
the fuck
fucking
have they
times
been
can
doing?
last year be relaunched?
How many times?
Oh.
How many second chances is it gonna get?
I don't know, dude.
Well, good luck to them.
Good luck. Good luck to them.
I'm gonna try. You guys know I'll try it, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I think.
And I'll play it again with you.
Maybe
Fuck it.
maybe this will be the one.
Why not?
This will be the one that sticks. The DVD
I'll give it,
killer.
I'll give it 3 more rounds again.
No.
Yes.
I think
But
Killer
yeah,
Cl-
people
Killer
still do play TCM. Crossplay, I think, was a big part of that. So it might
Yep.
end up kind of having like a moderate player base. Although it really sucks at ASIMs how you'll see like FPS players be like, "Oh, this game's dead, bro," and then you look at the numbers for it, you're like, an ASIM would kill for those numbers.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I
Their
can't-
version of a dead game is like an
It's like,
extremely alive
20K.
game.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that Steam charts isn't updating because of the advanced access. It's bugged out.
Yeah.
You can't see what the players look like. But I'd be really curious I want to be able to track it and see like how it dies off and how it pops off and stuff like that, because that'd be really interesting. Because like Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw is up for the last 30 days. They're up. Right? And then they're going on PlayStations. They're going on sale on PlayStation again this weekend. So I mean, again, I'm not
It's
saying
coming
that-
back.
I don't know. I have my faith is I ranted on stream the other day. We don't talk about this game that much anymore because it's really not. I mean, they had a whole ass update to say that they changed the color of the doors in the basement and they increased the sound of the thunder by 25%. That was the whole patch.
John's reaction.
They're out here being like, guys, we're gonna start doing weekly updates and giving you guys more. And that was the last update we got. There's like game breaking exploits in the game for months, and that's the stuff they're fixing.
it's just not worth talking about.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
enjoy-
I mean? Like I don't know.
I enjoy playing the game still because I like ASIMs, but
Oh,
I'm
that's
not.
great. Yeah.
But they have a new update coming out in a couple weeks. They have a new family member, so we'll see what happens. But I have a lot more optimism
That is-
about Killer Clowns being relevant in a year than Texas Chainsaw. That's for sure.
A new character is more exciting than different colored doors. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What color are they now?
I don't remember, dude.
What color were they before?
I don't remember, dude.
I mean, I only played that game for like 30 hours, but still 30 hours, and I don't remember the colors of the doors at
I
all.
want to say blue.
It was like a kind of bluish gray.
It was kind of dark.
basement
Yeah.
doors.
Gray.
You're turning
Oh,
red.
Yeah.
I
Were
gotta
they?
log
They
back
were
in.
blue. Yeah. Okay. Well, the basement doors were at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, well,
I think that the last note I'll leave us with is that Friday the 13th, the game, still had a pretty consistent player base on Steam and definitely on console, like a year or two ago. And they had their last content update in 2017. So I think that this one has a good chance to linger in a similar fashion, especially if it's going to continue
Ilphonic's
development.
behind it. You know, Ilphonic games
are very
tend to do
good.
well. Yeah.
So I'd say but again, I've graduated from the days of it's coming back, boys, or it's going to blow up, boys. And now I'm more of like, I'm cautiously optimistic that this game is going to be content relevant here in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good. Seems fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I was always
Time will
gonna like it, but I'm not.
I mean,
I'm not-
I'm excited to check it out with you
Yeah.
guys and see what it's like because I've always liked the IP.
Mhm.
I had the movie on VHS. Watched it with family like every year for a while. I was just like, gosh, this movie, it's so weird. So I can't believe
All
the
of
game
that's
exists.
really good.
Honestly,
I will shout out the character customization is pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Like that's good.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
once you start unlocking stuff, like it starts off and you've got like nothing, so everyone looks the same. But like as soon as there's a lot of cosmetics in the game, that's a good time.
okay.
And John, I know you like dressing up your dollies just as much as I do. So
Mhm. Yeah, that is important to me.
Did
yeah.
you, John? Did you pre-order the deluxe edition, or did you just get the standard edition?
I don't remember. I think I got the standard edition.
Because you get deluxe, you can still digital upgrade to deluxe, but you get Mike and Debbie from the movie as special characters. So
Okay, well, I'll have to take a look at that.
yeah,
See how much more it is.
it's like another $20. Pretty pricey, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I like licensed characters.
I'll just see how they look in the game. I'll just see
Yeah.
how they look. Yeah.
I bet they look pretty good. Everything else looks pretty sharp. I've got to say,
Yeah,
graphically, the game looks.
Oh, I mean,
gorgeous.
As soon as I saw the clowns in the trailer originally, I was just like, damn, they nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
they look exactly like they do from the movie. That's crazy. So, yeah. Good for them.
I'm excited.
We'll have
about
more to
Tuesday.
share in the next episode about Killer Clowns. But we should
gotta talk
probably...
Book club.
Yeah, we should probably move on to book club. The last time we got together, it was Sinnoh's turn to pick, and Sinnoh picked The Forgotten City. So Sinnoh, would you like to introduce book club?
Yeah, so just to reiterate to everyone, if you haven't played The Forgotten City yourself and you might like to play it, obviously we're going to talk about spoilers here, right? But it is
And I would say spoilers are pretty important for this game.
yeah, it's that's mostly what it is about. So if it's spoiled for you, you're not going to enjoy it. But that's why I said to you guys, it's kind of better if you don't know a lot about this game before you go in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than being told. But for those of you who are like, I'll never play it anyway, I just want to hear you guys talk about it. It is a time loop game set in a Roman city that you fall into through like a portal. You wake up on a river, you talk to someone, and then you go into this portal because you're looking for this person's friend Al. You fall into a portal, you end up in a little Roman city that has, I can't remember how many people it is. There's not
It's like
a lot.
20 or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
like
23, isn't
20
it?
odd people. And they are stuck in this loop where some of them know more about what's going on and some people have no fucking clue. But basically, they live under something called the Golden Rule, where if somebody breaks the Golden Rule, all of these golden statues wake up and turn them all to gold and they all die. And you are tasked by the mayor? Magistrate, that's it.
Yeah,
the mayor.
magistrate.
Was it SimCity 3000? Yeah. The magistrate says that he knows that someone's about to break the Golden Rule, and the last thing that happens in the loop is that he opens a portal which you come in from, and that creates the loop. And he wants you to find out who's going to break the Golden Rule and then stop it to break the cycle.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, you go around this little Roman city, and you're obviously a modern person, but you're talking to these people from the past, so it's kind of got that whole, the way that they live their lives are very different, and there's like some interesting contrasts, and then things develop from there. And eventually, when you get the true ending, you're talking to gods, you're
Yeah.
doing all sorts of crazy shit. So, what did you guys think of it? Was it the Forgotten City or was it the Forgotten Shitty?
That's what Gary calls it.
That's what I've been calling it.
Oh, you hate it?
I didn't like it. I just couldn't get into it. I just really struggled. I played for like maybe just over an hour before I was like, I can't. This is not for me.
Yeah.
I just found like I just couldn't get into the story, and the characters kept talking.
There's a lot of
talking.
yapping. Yeah.
Like the last bit I got up to was a lady that I'd just cured. Like I'd got some potion thing, an antidote for her, and then she just kept talking to me. And eventually, my brain was like, if she doesn't stop in a second, I'm done because like I need her to stop. But you have to pay attention because there's all this intricate lore going on, and you're trying to figure it out. And my brain just was not vibing with it. I thought it looked like very pretty though. I liked the background music. I will say that I was very at one point I
Heavenly
left it on.
choirs.
I just really liked that.
Mhm,
I thought the statues looked really cool as well. I was a little disappointed that I don't know if King Midas comes into it later.
No,
my,
there's
like-
no King
Okay.
Midas character.
That's a shame. But yeah, like I didn't really vibe with it at all. Personally, like for me, I mean, I like a time loop game, but I was like, I don't know, I just didn't like the trial and error element of like making mistakes and running back and coming back and doing it again and again. I just didn't really find that interesting. Like I'm more into like Outer Wilds sort of time loop thing where it's like it feels like a lot more intricately. What's the word for it? Mechanically patternized is what I want to say. Like, it's like a clever pattern going on. Whereas I felt like in the Forgotten City, I just couldn't get into it. It just felt really simple to me.
Yeah, do you want me to continue?
But that
I'm
could be
kinda-
because I was playing it very early. It could be like that it gets much more clever and deep later, but
I played it for 4 hours. I played it I played enough to know that it's never going to come back for me. Like when I accidentally unlocked the bad ending, I was like, thank God I can stop playing. And I don't mean to say like, it just wasn't for me at all. And I've never wanted to like a game that I couldn't more. Like I wanted to like it. I was like, I'm looking for reasons to like it. And I couldn't, man. Like, and I got through, like I said, a lot of the story. Like I was collecting tablets and like trying to figure shit out in that. And like, I could not care about a single character in the game. Like I couldn't possibly feel anything when I played it. And I like wanted to kind of, right? So I was like, oh, please, like make me like make me like this. And I couldn't do it. And finally, like I said, I was frustrated because like I had fucked up going under the city, trying to get one of the tablets. I can't remember which tablet it was. You guys remember what I'm talking about? You had like, well, there was a Greek tablet, a Roman
talking about
tablet.
The part with Kabosh, the
The guy-
Egyptian.
Underground.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the philosopher.
I fucked up underground and then I had to reset the time loop. And so in my frustration, I shot the magistrate and that gave me the bad ending. And I was like, I beat it. I can be done now. And I stopped.
I didn't
And
even think. So you can break the loop, I guess.
Yeah. I broke the loop by killing the magistrate. That's how I beat the game. And that's how I got my first ending. And I was like, that's 4 hours into the game. I'm really not enjoying it. I really don't want to play it anymore. I'm not trying to be mean. Like I'm not trying to be rude. I was just genuine because again, like I didn't like go into it negative or like I was trying to like it. And I continued to try going through and like, cause I finished, I don't know how much of the story I got through, but I did like the guy that was coming to assassinate people. I tricked him into dying and I saved the poison girl. I could not save the suicidal guy. I tried like 6 times to get the guy not to jump and I couldn't save him. And that was another thing that I was getting really frustrated with is like, it definitely, we talk about like having agency. I was like, this is literally just me doing this and guessing what I'm supposed to say. And then if it doesn't work, cause like I never figured out how to do it. Maybe you're not allowed to, maybe you can't, but like, to me, it felt like I just have to guess over and over again until I finally get the right one. That's the game here. That's what I have to do. I couldn't find hints to like figure out how to get him not to jump. I got inside the temple and those were very frustrating. The NPCs in there were very frustrating. Or like they would like body block rooms so you couldn't leave the room and I'd have to like get around. I don't know if you guys remember what I'm talking about, the little night dudes or whatever, skeleton dudes.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you go into the temple and you
But-
discover why the whole gold
But
thing.
you had the golden bow at that point, right?
I did, yeah. Like I said, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't mail it in, man. I played the game a lot. I was like really trying, man. And I was really working through it. And again, I thought it was clever at first, the time loop, and then just kind of I thought the idea of like, at least when you finish stuff, you could tell the first guy, hey, I did these, go tell these people, he'd like fix the things you already fixed.
Oh, that was a nice touch, actually. I
That
liked
was-
that. And the zip line
yeah.
was really cool.
I think that having him to be, so you didn't have to repeat the same actions over and
Yeah,
over
it's
again.
important.
That was very important to the game.
Yes, that's actually how you like eventually get to the true ending is by giving him enough things to do like that.
Right. And so, but yeah, just overall, I don't know. I honestly couldn't figure out like, and I'd love to hear from you, Sino, like why it's such a special game to you. Like what was so special about it that it was one that you're like, I love this game. I want my friends to play this game. Cause I didn't get it. And maybe I just,
Well,
didn't
I
understand it.
figured that sometimes, Doug, you don't really like story-based games very much.
Mm.
And with Hypnospace, it was a lot of like reading and paying attention.
And I
So
love
I was like, maybe with Forgotten City, it's more like the characters are a bit more upfront where you can just sit there and listen to them tell it to you.
Mm.
And it's not very long either, right?
right.
It's not a super long game.
No,
But
not
I
at all.
figured that like it's quite an unusual game to see like Rome portrayed in this sort of slightly funny way where it's not wholly like, oh, it's an old culture, so they were a bit like this, and it was like very parochial in some
fuddy-duddy.
ways. But it's not also like glorifying it completely.
Yeah.
Because some of the
Mhm.
things that they say, it's like, oh, actually, they maybe have a point with that. And then some of the things are like, one minute they'll be like, oh, we're very democratic. And then the next minute they're like, obviously, women aren't able to vote.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, you know, it's like, why not? And so even some of the NPCs are like, yeah, it's a bit weird that we're not allowed to vote, but that's just the way it is. Or I quite liked how the Christians are like a cult.
Yeah. That was,
Yeah.
You have to be very
neat.
quiet about being a Christian. It's kind of funny being somebody in the modern day talking to someone being like, don't. So there's one character near the person that keeps killing themselves who's like, yeah, so I just prayed to the gods
Yeah.
for guidance because she keeps slipping up and just saying God singular, which is a
Right.
Christian thing to say. So,
Yeah.
by the way that you save that person from committing suicide is you find out. I think the way I did it is you find out from the person that you cure the poison that he
Yeah, Yulia.
loved Scintilla.
Yeah, they were gonna run away together, right? Like they were trying to escape together, and then they got conned, and then they decided to do a suicide pact since they got conned, and so she poisoned herself, and he was gonna jump. And I thought that I figured it. I was like, okay, so if I tell him that she's not poisoned anymore, he won't jump, and he still jumped.
But
Yeah,
you
like-
need to talk to Yulia
but-
more, and she'll tell you that Ulpius loved somebody called Scintilla. And then you get a new dialogue option when you talk to him, like, Scintilla
Well, and-
wouldn't want this.
And you also have to find out that he's like why he wants to jump. It's because he's in debt to Malleolus.
Mhm. Yep,
And so then you
have
have to pay off his debt, which is I think 2,000 denarius or
Oh.
whatever.
see, because I was gonna say, telling him about Scintilla wouldn't want you to do this didn't save him in my playthrough. Like when I tried
Oh,
it,
okay.
I told him that. So again, now though, that's new. I never paid off his debt, so maybe I needed to pay his debt off, and then I could have
Yeah.
gotten him not to jump. But,
Yeah. I mean,
And I thought, Gary, you would at least like being able to break the rule and then run away.
Oh, I did like being able to like screw things up and then run back to the portal and just reset it.
Hmm.
That I got giggles out of that. And
Okay,
that's
okay.
fun.
But then at
I
a
w-
certain point, I was like, I don't think I like when I get it right. When I start like doing the process of getting it right, I'm like, I don't feel the mirth
Yeah.
of like I don't feel clever. I feel like I've got the answer wrong a bunch of times and then
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah, and that's what I was to say too. Maybe that was a softer way to say it. Maybe that's how I felt too. Is like I didn't feel like, oh, I figured like when I figured out a puzzle on Hypnospace Outlaw, I was like, oh my god,
I'm
I,
smart.
I figured it out. Oh my god, that was the thing from before. You know, but with this one, it was like, okay, which ones have I tried so I can try a different one and see if that's the right one this time. That's how it felt to me.
You're waiting for the
So-
magical dialogue option.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, it's a new dialogue option,
Yeah.
so now I can complete that. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very valid criticism, and it is
So-
it's a pretty limited game because it is basically a mod that became its own game.
Yeah, which I
Right,
do
so-
give it like a bit of a pass on that. Like it was a
real, yeah.
Skyrim mod, right? That
Yeah.
got turned into its own game, which is cool.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit more simple in that regard. But
I will say,
Well-
the character models looked really good.
well,
was
can
quite
I
impressed
just
by
can I just provide another point of view? So no, I actually really like this game, and I
Right.
played.
I had a
through it
feeling
the whole way.
you might.
I really enjoyed it. It was very Danganronpa to me, which like when I was about halfway through, I was just like, okay, I can see why Sino recommended this.
Yes, it's
I
this very
wasn't-
Sinnoh game.
And on that note, it was very visual novel, which I wasn't expecting, because I think the Steam store page describes it as like an RPG or something like that, which I'm perplexed by because there was like very little, if at all, like RPG elements. It's pretty much like an adventure game. It's a visual novel with like 3D movement and inventory puzzles and stuff.
Yes,
So, but I really liked talking to all the characters and like getting to know like what's got them stuck there, or like finding the background of why everyone's there was rewarding to me. So, I mean, we're gonna spoil this obviously, but like I didn't think anything of it when the hooded figure on the river introduced herself as Karen. I was like, okay, well that's kind of a strange name, but whatever. But then later, I actually realized just before it's revealed to you by Equitia, it's like no, her name's Charon, like the River Styx ferryman.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I remember that dialogue. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit! Like I realized it when we were on our way to the baths. I was like, oh damn, that's why everybody remembers a coin. Everybody remembers the river, like. Because I was saying the clues out loud to myself. I was like, so there's a river, there's a coin, there's a memory lapse, it was like a really cool moment.
Yes, you're like, duh, Karen, Charon,
yeah,
the river Styx.
And then you realize that you're in the underworld, and everything makes sense. And like up until that point, I was thinking like, is everyone dead? But I was like, I don't really see how that's that clever, But then once like the way that it was revealed was really interesting.
Uh-huh.
It has a kind of purgatory feel, doesn't it? Almost.
Yeah. Like I thought it was some kind of purgatory or some kind of afterlife scenario, but yeah, the underworld, that was an interesting. And I liked the golden rule too. It felt like the stakes were really high of just like, if you fuck up one time, everybody's dead.
I remember
Sorry, go ahead.
I just remember I threatened a guy one time and it broke the golden rule. Like I just made a comment that broke the golden rule, like threatened to kill the dude that was the one that was running for magistrate. And I was like, I didn't even do it. I just said it.
Banter with me.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought we were shit talking, bro. I thought we were just chirping, dude. And I was like,
chirping. There's no chirping allowed.
No,
it's instant. On that note, I love how whenever the golden rule gets violated, Sentius just immediately like he
He's
so fucking like
he's just
in it to win it.
It's like Agent
no matter
Smith
what he's doing.
from Matrix.
Yeah.
No matter what he's doing, he is going to that portal. I forgot that he said that he has to sacrifice every time he makes it. So the first time it happened, first of all, I didn't realize what was happening at first. I was like, what is going on? They're all coming to life, like, which I, figured. I was like, they've got to be real, right? The statues. But still seeing them come to life was kind of shocking and shooting everybody. But then when I got to the portal, it was like, oh, here. And then I was like, why is Sentius dead? Like, what happened to the guy? He was like vaporized.
Did he fall over?
Yeah, he's like a mummy. No, but that was cool. And I think there were some parts of the game that dragged a little bit for me, like going through the palace with the golden bow. I was just like, that goes on for like forever.
Yes,
like when you're fighting the zombies and everything with the golden bow and stuff. I was like, this could have ended about 5 minutes ago and it would have been fine. But I thought the reveal at the end was interesting, and it feels like there were a lot of cool reveals like in the mid to late game that kept it going.
Yeah.
Because I was worried when the underworld twist was unveiled that I'd be like, oh, well now, I mean, that's it, right? That was like the big moment. But no, there's like tons of moments that keep happening, like when you find Scintilla, who's kept captive on the upper cistern, and you find out that it's her father who kept her there. I was always like, there's something a little off about Sentius, but I didn't think that he would be this like insane mastermind that he turned out to be. And it makes sense. Like I also, when he did his little villain monologue to me, I shot him with the golden bow, and I got the first ending or whatever. It was like,
you got mine.
We've created a paradox now, so you're out of here. But
and Al shows at you.
Yeah, you get to meet Al.
Why would you do that?
You get to meet Al. Yeah. I did find the true ending to be really rewarding, also. Because I got the one where, like, once you do everybody's side quests and you save everyone's life and you tell Galerius to do it, which I got Galerius elected in order to get Dooley out of prison.
I thought I needed to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you give enough things to Galerius and he saves enough people's lives, you have to get Malleolus to drop out of the race. But once you do that, he runs and then he wins, and the first thing he does is get Dooley out of prison. And then immediately Dooley breaks the golden rule and you start the loop over.
And you're
And
like,
I was just like,
fuck,
fucking hilarious,
That's so funny.
dickhead. But yeah, you get the stuff off of him, which is good.
Yeah, I will say, Gary, that like you're probably a little surprised by some of these things, and what you just said there, John. The game is a lot more clever than maybe you thought, but it does require you to kind of get to the mid to late game before you start to feel how clever
I was
it
just
is.
so uninvested. When
And
they
you
were,
just
like,
weren't
they
in
just-
it, yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
that's
kept
fair.
talking.
Like, absolutely. Sometimes
I
as
feel
well,
like
especially
I missed out on an opportunity though if I just stuck with it, but like I was probably not in the right mindset to play it either. I was having a week.
that's also
Well,
totally a thing. Like, I've
it-
definitely played
yeah.
games like that where I knew it would be good if I was in the right mindset.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of times, sometimes my first exposure to something is I'm just not in the right mood for it, or I'm not. Yeah, I don't really feel like that type of game at that time, or it's just not hitting right. And I'll come back to it later and really
Remember when I
enjoy
first watched Breaking Bad and I didn't like the first episode. I didn't watch it.
Oh,
Damn.
Then I went back and then I gave it another chance on a different day when I was probably in a better mood. And I was
yeah,
like, why
Yeah.
did I stop? Why did I not watch episode 2?
right.
I was like
Yeah.
that with Always Sunny. I
Oh.
wasn't feeling it at first. I was like, I don't know, it's kind of maybe a bit kind of try hardy.
That's like
And then I
literally-
came back and I
That's
chilled out and I watched it and I was like, you're a fucking idiot past me. But sometimes you're just not. Or like a certain
Sometimes
type of
the
game.
timing's off. Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm not in the mood for like a narrative based game. I want a
Mm.
game where numbers go up. And then sometimes it's vice versa where I'm all RPG'd out and I want a game where I'm talking to somebody about their stupid fucking problems.
I was in the mood to play a game like this where you just walk around and talk to people and piece things together based on what they say and their interactions with each other and stuff. But even then, there was a point when I talked to like 18 of these people that I was just like, I'm gonna need something to happen soon.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And it's
which
very
thankfully you
exhaustive.
can-
You just start breaking the golden rule just to split it up a little bit.
Yeah, that,
yeah. Well, I accidentally broke it. I think I thought somebody else broke it. I thought somebody else just like, does that happen? Sino? Like somebody just can just break the golden rule and start the portal, or is it always something you do? Because I don't know what
so
I did.
You never played out a whole loop without doing any crimes?
No. Or I don't think I thought I did. I was talking to Dooley in the prison, and I told him that I was going to help him out. And then as soon as I got out of the dialogue, somebody broke the golden rule somewhere, and it just started, and Sentius went to the portal and stuff. And so I had to
Right.
go through the loop. But I don't think I did anything. Like, I couldn't figure
ultimately,
it out.
if you do nothing and you don't change anything, the election happens.
Oh, yes.
And Malleolus is elected, and he's like, right, I'm going to get Sentius killed now as my first act as mayor.
Maybe that's what happened.
And that's what breaks the golden rule.
Maybe that was happening in the background, and I just didn't hear it or something like that.
Yes. So basically, it
Okay.
has a time limit. Every loop has a time limit where if you absolutely do nothing, it will still get broken eventually by Malleolus.
Okay, so it's a bit Outer Wilds in that sense. That's like, is it
Yes.
22 minutes or something?
That's also another reason why I thought you would like the game, Gary, because it's like Outer Wilds, where the universe will end, even if you do nothing.
The best bit. I think it's
yeah,
because
but
Outer
everything's
Wilds is
fucked.
just like me figuring out puzzles and like.
Yeah, this is
Whereas-
much more of a yapping game.
Mm.
But there's
So,
still
yeah.
puzzles. I mean, there
are.
You still have to, be able to put two and two together most of the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Some things you can brute force, but
Maybe
yeah.
I'll give it another go in the future.
Yeah, you might. I
So
mean,
I keep in the same trouble with Baldur's Gate. I keep opening it up and I'm like, oh, it's a story bit where they just keep talking.
everybody's chatting away. One thing I do quite like about the Forgotten City as well is I expected it to be like a murder mystery game where there would be like one golden answer as to who is
Yes.
breaking the golden rule, and the answer is
I thought
quite
so
a lot of
too.
them.
well, the answer is like everyone, right?
Yeah,
Everyone,
pretty
has-
much everyone.
yeah, is going to break it at some point or another. Even Galerius. That's one part where I was like, I got kind of hung up on it because at one point when you're talking to Galerius, he says something under his breath about like Nemesis will get his revenge or something like that.
Stars.
And then he's like, forget I said that. And I was like, I'm not gonna forget you said that shit. What are you... And it's the only time he mentioned it for me. Like it was the only time he showed anything nefarious. But I was like, so
Did
you
you
could
not-
break it too.
Did you get through his backstory?
I mean, I did a quest for him. I gave him the flower to give to Equitia.
So did he talk
Um,
about the thugs that came and killed his sisters?
Oh yes, he did.
with
Yeah,
his
he talked about
farm,
that.
right? And
Yeah.
he's like, he looks like Mr. Clean, and he's all happy. He's like, "Salve,
yeah.
friend!" And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Those thugs fucking killed my sisters, and Nemesis will get his vengeance." Oh, but don't worry about me saying that. It's fine.
Yeah. I guess I just thought it was
Ignore
gonna
that.
it was gonna like lead to something where he was actually like, I don't know, in some kind of Nemesis cult or something. I don't know. But they
Yeah.
never. Yeah. But
And he's not. I don't think he's technically a free man either.
Hmm.
So that's the whole
Oh
thing.
yeah. It seemed I liked, just in general, I liked how most of the characters had like a lot to them once you delved into it. Some of the characters are just shitheads. Like
Yes.
Aurelia. Aurelia's just a shithead.
Oh, unrepentant, total shithead.
Unrepentant shithead. But it's great because like in the true ending, I got everybody together in the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like some notable absences here. You know,
Mhm.
she's not there. Yeah, Malleolus
Is that
isn't
because
there.
she's a bad person?
No. Well, she falls for a Nigerian prince email scam.
Oh, I see. So she makes the wrong decision, basically, and doesn't go
Yes.
to the good ending.
Which is very fitting because that's what she basically spends the game doing. Is
peddling that to
tells
others.
people. She tells people, Gary, there's a way out of the Forgotten City, but you have to pay 2,000 denarium or wherever it is, denarius, for
Yeah.
it. And somebody does that eventually. They go into debt to get it, and she's like, "Okay, here's your way out of the Forgotten City," and she gives them poison. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can
kill
kill
yourself.
yourself if you want to escape.
Yeah.
That's it. You spent 2,000 for that. So she's a bit of a bastard.
She sounds like a bastard.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a bit of a bastard.
Right, yep.
John, what was your way of making money in that game?
So I would break the golden rule and steal it from chess.
Did you steal from
Um,
Aurelia a lot?
I did. I stole from Aurelia one time when I was like, oh my god, she's got like 2,500 up here. So yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna keep stealing from her until I'm like
Yeah.
loaded.
No, I went into that. There's that tunnel near her place that has like 4,000 in it.
Yeah.
That you have to get the statue out of the way first. But yeah,
There's a lot of money lying around in chests in that game. It's very
there is.
Weird.
And something you can just claim without stealing, which I was happy for.
That's the Skyrim coming out.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, some people like Aurelia got really she wouldn't talk to me anymore once I went upstairs in her place. Like I just went up there, I didn't touch anything, and then she was like, "Get out of here. I never want to see you again." And I was like, "Oh. Okay." But then I just reset the loop and she was talking to me again.
And then all of a sudden she was flirting with you again.
Yeah, which there's no right dialogue there. She always rejects you. I was disappointed, but I understand. It makes sense with her. It makes sense with her character. I also liked in the game, like talking to all the characters, you find that, you know, it's the civilization there started out Sumerian, and then it was built over by the Egyptians, and then it was built over by the Greeks, and then it was built over by the Romans, and they just stole from each other as they went along. They just kind of took the same characters and rebranded them. I thought that was an interesting commentary. I'm not sure how much of that is like, you know, historical fact, but it was something, you know, an interesting element of the game, I thought, learning that.
It's quite a lot of historians say that it's quite a prominent thing when you view it. Like obviously with Greek and Roman gods, quite
Yeah.
often there's like a 1-to-1 where it's like that name is that god, but it's the same god in Rome. It's just with a different name.
Yeah.
Isn't there also like a lot of the Son of God was born on the 25th of December? Like a lot of that is repeated throughout. Like isn't the Son of Horus
Yes.
or the Son
Yeah.
of Osiris, Horus? That's the 25th of December, right? And
Yeah.
They believe a lot of Christianity comes from a culture before that's about worshipping the sun, basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what you're
That
kind of-
Zeitgeist documentary. I remember watching that.
I watched that when I was a teenager as well, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
I was like, my third eye is opening, bro. Like, yeah.
Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Yeah, Horus was also born on the December 25th. Ha
Duh.
idiots. Read
Which
a
was interesting.
book.
I never thought about it, but like Osiris being the same entity as Hades, I never thought about that. When that was revealed, I was like, wow. But yeah, on that note, you know, ending the game, talking with the god of the underworld, and that whole sequence was really interesting, I thought. He did talk for forever, but
Yes.
you don't need to listen to everything he says. You can cut to the chase. thankfully.
Skip.
Well, it's
I
like
don't know
it's
what
like
I'm doing.
there's a bunch of background stuff you can get on him, but you really just need to ask him like, so what do you think about the golden rule, buddy? And then it kind of goes from there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. I thought it was fun. It did take me a while to get into it, but I think once I hit the point where I was just like, I was hearing the theme in my head of like dangan rampa, I was like, okay, I'm in this now. Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell why I liked it. I'm sure when
Yeah.
you were playing it, you were like, "Oh, Sinnoh would fucking love that," obviously. But
Yeah.
maybe next time, I'll just be like, "Hey, John, you should play this." And for Gary and Doug, I'll
Like, you know those ones where you put shapes in the right hole?
Yeah. Those ones are really good. You like match up the sound with the farm animal, something like that. Yeah. Might be better.
No, you played through enough of Hypnospace. Hypnospace
Yeah.
is not always very
I
obvious.
love
So
No,
Hypnospace.
him
That's
and Space
what I
had
was
some
going
with.
cryptic stuff
Yeah.
towards the end, especially.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
My mum's
Next
a
time, though-
toilet, or whatever that bit was.
Yeah. Your mum's a toilet. No, I'm gonna
And
try.
if I-
I'll try something different for my next pick though. That's a little bit less like, all right, Sinnoh's
Well,
picked
I-
another pseudo visual novel.
I mean,
Pick
I
'em.
think the whole point of book club is picking whatever game you think will be interesting. I don't think it necessarily has to be one that's like a home run with everyone.
Real,
but
yeah,
it's just like
absolutely.
whatever it will generate
I-
interesting discussion. So
True.
There has not been one book club game yet that I was like, I wish I had never played that. Like, I'm glad that I played it. I'm glad I experienced it to like be able to know that I've done that. And
yeah,
My life is actively worse for having played this.
yeah, no, that's not how I feel at all. I laughed a lot at how happy I was that I killed that. I mean,
it is really funny killing people in that game.
Yeah. And I,
It's, yeah.
There was
Absolutely.
Doug,
Oh,
did you pick the one that gives you the gun at the beginning?
no, I picked
I
them.
did.
I picked the endurance for running.
Okay.
Did the,
I picked
the gun
I
looked
picked-
so tiny.
Oh,
Is
really?
that just me? I mean,
I
I'm not a
didn't-
gun
I didn't pick
expert. Oh, I did. The gun tiny. I kept looking in my hand like, it's so tiny. It looks like one of those like spy pistols.
I picked archaeologist for like the history insights because I was like, oh, it's like Disco Elysium. They're gonna pop up with like little tidbits for me, and it only happened like 5 times.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't
Oh.
have it that often, and usually when it popped up and I was just like, oh yes, the such and such. They're just like, oh yeah, you know your history. Anyway, and then I was like, oh okay.
You know the guy who comes out of the temple with the bow and arrow with the mask covering his face?
Yes.
Yeah, I shot him right in the head.
Wow.
Does anybody comment when you like break out the gun?
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, I only really brought it out when I was killing someone, and then the golden rule was
Naturally.
broken. So people were reacting very negatively.
Because when I got the golden bow, like people would comment on it everywhere I went.
I didn't think to ask anyone about the gun. I kind of just naturally kept it hidden.
A lot of people forget this, but if you bring out your flashlight, some
Mhm.
people will be like, "Look at your torch! It's
Look
amazing!
at your brilliant lamp.
Yeah,
What a
that
brilliant
lamp you've
you
got."
have.
It's like I'm
Yeah.
gonna blow your mind. Here's my Game Boy.
Well, I spent a lot of time in the game like hiding the flashlight because I was like, I don't want them to see my futuristic item. But then I had it out by accident one time, and they're just like, "What a shiny lamp!" And I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah."
I think if I was a Roman and somebody brought that out in front of me, I'd like fall to the ground like, "What is this artifact? Are
Yeah.
you the chosen one?
Wizardry.
Wizardry!
Burn them
He
at the
commands
stake."
light from his hand."
Obviously, they're all kind of like, "Where's the Wi-Fi?"
Yeah. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. Do you have Google Maps? Hello? I'm tired. It's too hot here.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I'm getting an Uber.
What was the last thing I was going to say before we move on? Oh, I do particularly love the plot line of that one gay character that's like, somebody keeps writing graffiti saying I'm a sinner. And then there's that one soldier, and you go into his room and he's got like a massive like penis carving. And I discovered that independently of knowing about the gay character. And I was like, I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
I think I've worked out who's secretly got a bit of a thing.
Well,
Yeah.
he's also got a note on his desk that's like, "You're a sinner, and you'll always be a sinner." And it's like,
Yeah.
he just never sent it. And I was like, "Oh, I guess it's him." Huh.
You're so disgusting with your lovely cheekbones and your cool accent. Fuck you, sinner.
Well, it was great at the true ending when you see that they actually get together. Very sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a little happy Pride Month moment right there.
There's several couples actually at the ending. There's some of them I forgot about. I was just like, oh, I forgot that you liked him. Oh.
Yeah, because they all seem a bit dysfunctional at times.
Yeah, and a lot of the couples don't really spend much time together. Like, yeah, Rufus and Virgil are an exception, I guess, but like Scintilla and Ulpius, it's like you just never see them together.
Right.
And so at the end, I was like, oh, right, I forgot.
I got jump scared. I've been playing it for Patreon, and I got jump scared because I told Galerius to save Ulpius at the beginning of the loop. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I was walking around, and at one point I like turned around, and Ulpius is right there, like, hello. And I was like, God, I forgot you were
Don't trust
alive.
a single thing they say.
Yeah, I know. It's like still very intense because he was about to kill himself that morning. But it's like, yeah, it's funny sometimes when you do things in the loops and stuff, and the characters like have their own cycles which go by even when you're in conversation. So
Yes,
they can surprise you sometimes.
I think I had some kind of bug or something because I found Scintilla, and then I went and I told Ulpius, and he had no reaction, and it just ended the conversation.
Oh.
And it was just like, Scintilla's up with the upper cistern, and he just started walking away, and I was like, oh. All right.
I don't give a fuck.
The love of your life is still alive.
Yeah. I
Anything?
was like, is he going to go confront somebody? Because so I just like followed him for a while, and then he didn't go anywhere, of course. He just did his little loop, and I was like, oh. So I don't know
Weird.
what that was about. But
I'll need to
honestly, like, not that
replay
many
through it.
bugs. That was like, I think that was like only bug I really encountered playing the game. So it was good.
And that's made in the Skyrim engine.
It's great. Like, how, I don't really know the background of the game. How are they able to sell that? Like, because doesn't it
don't know.
have part of like the Skyrim base kit in it, like baked in, or did they have to
kinda assume
remake it
they
from the ground up? Or?
Rebuilt it or something to sell it.
Hmm.
Did they not?
I mean, yeah, I would.
So I assume it was a
but
Skyrim mod that they then had to rebuild because the character models look great. I thought like better than Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I imagine like a lot of the texture work and stuff, it would have to be
It would have
different.
to be remade, right? But I guess they
Yeah,
kept
like-
the style of it.
Like
the
I didn't see any
same.
assets that looked like they were from Skyrim, so it looks like they're all
Same.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was being picky, you know what I'm like.
I mean, I assumed if there was like anything in there that was from Skyrim, that Bethesda would have, knocked
come
it
down
down.
like a ton of bricks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I'll maybe search for that in Google a little bit later and see how they managed to do it. But it was cool to sort of support something. I think one of the reasons is why I liked it so much is because I just saw an article that was like, there's this little game that's quite good if you like story-based games. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I went into it not really knowing much about it, so I think that was one of the reasons why I found it quite like a fun little discovery for me.
Charming.
And it is something that it can be easy to go in with a shitty mindset for things when it's like people on the internet are being annoying about it, and I've already heard like 50 billion things about the game, and I've not even ever
Oh yeah.
tried to buy it yet. It's like sometimes you can get soiled on an experience if people are being annoying about it. So sometimes I'll just cut myself off and be like, I do want to play that, so I'm just not going to listen to all of this crap for now. Like
Mhm.
Baldur's Gate 3, I think I would start to get annoyed by it if I heard too much of people talking about it before I tried it myself. It's like the
Right.
Game of Thrones thing. Remember when people were like, you haven't watched Game of Thrones?
Well, it's like
Oh.
yeah.
That's what put me off watching it for the longest time.
Right.
Right. It's like Porg finding out about Baldur's Gate 3 basically when it wins Game of the Year, and he still has a grudge against it, and he's never gonna play it. It's like, well, all right. You're missing out, bro.
He's a troll. You know what Pork's like.
Yeah.
That's why you guys like him. Because he's a
Yeah.
massive troll.
He's a hater. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, absolute certified hater.
Certified
capital
hater.
H. But okay, what about the next book club?
Yes, it's Doug's turn to pick for the next book club.
The
Looks
terror
like-
in his
Wow.
eyes. Did you see that?
No.
Did you forget?
No, of course not. No, I actually had a couple of ideas. But I think what I would like to do, because we've got a new ASIM out and I'm kind of feeling very ASIM pilled lately. I've been playing a lot of ASIMs. I'd like to
That's
revisit.
so unlike you, Doug.
I know, but wait. I've always wanted to visit one that I never played that you guys all played. And so I'm going to ask you gentlemen to teach me how to play Resident Evil Resistance.
Exciting.
Sinner, get the guides out. Get the guides out.
My
Yeah.
heart, my soul.
Yeah,
so-
we have a playlist to start you on. Sinnoh's guide playlist.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can hear me fucking going through it because there was constantly like sawdust in the air where I used to live. So half of those guys, I'm like, hey, so Sino here. Here's a bill for Spencer. I sound like an idiot because I'm all like congested.
They're good videos, though.
Thank you.
So Resident Evil Resistance.
Yeah, Resident Evil Resistance.
Okay.
I've never played a single minute of the game, and we've
Have
always.
you seen footage?
I watched Barbecue, and I watched. Who was the other person I watched play it when it first came out? I probably watched like
10 beats.
2 hours of gameplay. I didn't know you back then, bro.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I
I'm
wish
just
I would have. I would have
He
played
was
the game.
number one in the category most of the time.
Yeah. I think
Most of the time.
I think my variety streamers that are on
Sometimes you didn't stream, Sinnoh.
my list were just playing it. So yeah, so I've seen like maybe an hour or two of total gameplay. I don't know. I know very little
No,
about
that's
it.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time. I'm excited
I'm
because
just-
there's I didn't play the game a lot towards the end of its lifespan, so there's like I haven't seen the prison map, for example. So there's some parts that I haven't really gotten into. Like I don't think I ever played against Nikolai.
Oh, you missed out.
Well, yeah, I hear. Yeah,
But
game-
Nemesis is cool.
They added some really cool things, and then there's some parts where the design went a little off the rails, I would say. But there's some
Yeah.
other maps as well that they added that are really big. You'll be able to tell. There's like 2 maps they added that are like really long, winding maps as opposed to the kind of smaller ones at the beginning. But I think by that point they were like, this project
Just
is going to get
whatever.
canned. Just do whatever you can with the assets you've got. So they just kind of went for it. But
So, Doug, do you own Resident Evil 3 remake?
I do, and I own.
Oh,
I own Resist. Yeah, I got that. I got
Yeah,
it.
Resistance
Oh,
is
nice.
in there, so.
Yep.
For some,
I put it in my
weird-
top 25 games of all time.
Well, then I'm glad that I'm going to try it
Wow.
finally.
I mean,
Ironically.
it is honestly. I mean, we did our asymmetrical horror tier list. I don't think you were here for that, Sinnoh. Actually, I think it was just before you arrived. We did an asymmetrical horror game tier list. But we put Resistance very high.
Yeah.
Yes,
It-
I do
it-
remember that.
May have been high A tier, maybe even
Is it either
low
high A or
S.
S? I think
Or
I
something
was
like
probably
that.
fighting for S.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it's one of the best I've played in that genre for sure. It's
I still think it is
just
the
too
best.
bad. I mean, it's like a what could have been scenario. I know we pine all the time anytime it gets brought up, but it's just such a shame that Reverse exists.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
My
I
Steam keeps
forgot.
telling me to. Steam keeps telling me to play it. They're like, people who play the games you play enjoy Reverse. I'm like, who are these
And, like,
people?
Literally, they could have not done Reverse and just kept going with Resistance, and it would be they would have nothing but positives to gain from that.
Yeah.
There would have
Yes.
more people playing it. Oh well.
Resident Evil Reverse does have 5 people playing it right now on Steam, though. Whoop, whoop, high
Because
five.
it's shit. It's just shit game. It fucking sucks.
I never played
You're-
it.
no, yeah, it is. It was
I'm
it was
picking that for book
shit
club.
in beta. It,
It
was
was
still shit when it came out.
Yeah.
That's great.
I honestly, they took like a year between the beta and the full release, and I was like, what did they do? It's exactly the same. It's literally the same game. They could have
Yeah.
just, it's like they didn't do anything. I don't
Is
get
it- So Resistance has more people playing it than Reverse right now.
Yeah. Because it's, I
Really?
mean,
Yeah.
it's the better game. I'm like, even in
crazy.
its current state, its unplayable Jackal related state, it's still better than Reverse.
Yeah,
just saying.
Resistance is good. The Jackal.
The
I'm
Jackal.
looking forward to that. There's even
Yeah.
some stuff in the game that they added after I stopped playing. So
Really?
Oh.
yeah, there was like one last like big update. Mastermind's got like some new stuff that I never got to play around with. I think
Hunters?
unfortunately not.
Oh my
By that point,
God.
a lot of people said that the Mastermind was stronger than the survivors, but I was already. They'd already basically said we're not going to keep updating this anymore, and I was like, well, I'm out.
Well, the nice thing is, like, if we do that, we can all, like, if we play the stronger role of the mastermind, we can kind of take our foot off the gas.
Well, yeah, we
Yeah,
can kinda
like,
just
if I'm
mess
playing with you-
around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go with my trap time destroyer Alex build, which is all about making you fall
Yeah.
over traps and lose all your time before you can do anything.
You're
He
not
made some
playing
very
against 300-hour
Well, I hope all
resistance
our-
streamers anymore.
I hope all our saved decks are still in there. I'd be interested to see
Maybe.
what the fuck I've got. Yeah.
Maybe. I made a dog
Doug, I
build
like
with the
this.
net where I would make all the dogs go.
I had a
We
berserk.
can- We'll have to have Doug rotate into Mastermind too, so he
Yeah.
can see what it's like. It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Might be good to have him start as the mastermind so that we can all go really slow.
We can get
We're
our
gonna
feet
get
wet.
to hear Ledaniel again.
The
Gangster
Yes.
characters.
The
The best
The-
Final Fantasy, the best Resident Evil character they've ever made.
I think it was them being told you're not allowed to use Wesker, so they came up with kind of a French Wesker.
Yeah, they come up
And
with
he's the best.
Wesker at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of Costco Wesker vibe good on here. Walmart
Eh.
Wesker.
And they were like, "You never said anything about Alex Wesker.
Yeah.
We could use her."
It's too late. We got her.
Yeah.
And they made her kind of cunty in a
Capcom.
good way.
Oh, she
Capcom was
great.
probably like, she's in like one game, whatever.
Her like bioweapon is such bullshit. Sometimes you just drop it in a room. You're like, what? What are you gonna do?
The stupid fucking plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What a nightmare
Well,
that would be.
This will be fun to. You'll understand all these references soon enough, Doug.
Can't
And
wait. Cannot
We'll
wait.
talk about it.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited to hear Doug's opinion about it as well.
Yeah, so as the king of ASIM, it'll be very interesting to hear your opinion.
I'm ready.
Like, this should be revived. Revived
Maybe.
is what they should call
I mean,
it.
Revive.
I mean, people play it still, so maybe it won't need to be revived. Maybe we'll just start playing it, and then we'll build a little revolution, and then we can be like the people at Evil Dead that are
Revolution.
drinking the Kool-Aid, being like, oh, if enough of us play it, they'll come back and start developing it again. I just think it'd be cool to be able to play it and like actually
Yeah.
experience it because
I'd
I
love
think
to revisit it.
I think
Yeah.
playing with you guys who know how to play, and like you
Mhm.
said, you're not going to just
Oh, no, it's been a while.
so you're not going to stomp on the gas. So I'll be able to like experience it with
No.
experienced people.
I'll be like struggling to remember how to do anything, honestly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
If
really.
I had
Um,
infinite money, I'd just rebuild it.
Yeah.
Like, I would
If-
just
Rebuild.
Oh, man.
I was telling,
yeah,
I was
just with my own characters. I tell you what, I'd go to Capcom and be like, "Can I buy the Survivors? Because they were awesome. You
Oh
don't use
yeah.
them for anything. Can I just have
Well,
them?
the Resident Evil fan base complained about them, but like
Valerie was
I-
the best.
that's one of the things about the game that just really like perplexes me because I feel like it's one of the reasons why the interest wasn't as high. It's because they had these original characters, but Resident Evil fan base like basically rejected them, but then they embraced all the ones in Outbreak, and I'm like,
Right.
none of the ones in Outbreak are in any other games, so what? I don't know what the difference
They were
is.
just
but-
pissy because they wanted Outbreak 3 or whatever they wanted.
Well, it is crazy. Like it basically is Outbreak 3, just multiplayer. But like they had Jill in the game, they had Nikolai, they had Spencer, they had established characters.
Mr. X.
Mr. X, Nemesis, like they had, but whatever.
They had
Just sitting
Martin
here like-
Sandwich.
They had Martin Sandwich. Step on these.
Step on these and they'll all be like, "Whoa!"
Shut
The voice lines were so good. Like they had so much personality, those characters, for what
Hack
they
the
were.
planet.
Oh,
Yeah, January being all
January.
edgy.
the worst thing you could hear as a
Seriously.
mastermind.
Yeah, seriously.
Heck, the planet. You're like, oh no,
Here we
they're just
go
gonna do
again.
whatever they want for like a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the worst moment as Mastermind where you're like, well, I guess I'll just sit here.
Oh, no, there's one moment worse when you change to a camera and then it would just be destroyed as soon as you change
No.
to it. You're like, oh, never mind, I found them.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when they shoot the camera as a mastermind, you're trying to move the camera around to
Oh
place
my
units, and
God.
it's like it goes like this every time
Yeah.
you get shot.
Yeah.
So it feels like
Yeah.
somebody's like rattling your head. Yeah, that was one thing that could be a bit annoying, but we'll talk about
But
that next time.
Because you
Yeah.
could increase that, couldn't you? On the Survivor side, you
think
could
so,
increase
yeah,
the
you
amount
had
that
a perk for
that it jiggles around. Yeah.
Doug,
Really, it's a
excellent
game
choice.
about annoying
Thank you.
your
Excellent choice,
opponent.
Doug.
I'm already feeling really good about this because you guys are like, yeah, you're like bouncing around. like,
We're poke
Well, you
jumping.
could tell how much the game had an influence on us, and I mean, I didn't play it nearly as much as these guys, but I still have fond memories. I really liked my time with it. So
nice.
Just thinking every time when you'd like you'd get the survivors trapped in a room with your zombies, and you would just be like, they can't do anything. Here's another liquor. Have fun.
Now die.
yeah, yeah.
They get one of the survivors up, and then another one falls down. Whatever shall you
Yeah.
do?
And, and when you start putting traps underneath their feet when they're like fighting for their lives and like just stuck in their foot
No,
gets
it-
stuck, you're like,
It is
What are you going to
honestly,
do?
I think it was the most infuriating game to play as the one in an ASIM when you're down, but when you're up as the one as the mastermind, it is just like I felt like Jigsaw. I
it's
was
because the
just
stress
like-
would be off you. You wouldn't even have to like, you just drop things.
Yeah, you could just be like, try to deal with that shit, idiots.
Yeah.
Step on these.
And then when they would actually start to try, you go, oh, they're actually bringing it back a little bit. Fine, I'll lean back forwards.
Yeah,
Looks like I'll have
All
to
right.
click on stuff again.
I'll summon Mr. X.
yeah, exactly. Well, this is
Oh, so good.
I'm very much looking forward to this. And by the way, the next episode is episode 50. I don't know if you
Big
guys realize
50.
that. The big 5-0. So, I mean, what are we going to do
We should do a tier
besides book
list.
club, do you think?
We should do a
Should we
tier
do a tier list?
Yeah. Let's come up with a tier list.
What
idea.
about?
Hmm,
I wanna figure
I
it
don't
out.
know.
We should
What have
figure it
not
out. in that
done?
time, yeah. I think because we used to do them every 10 seasons, every 10 or 5.
Every 5, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe what if episode 50 is like a Resident Evil Resistance themed episode where we talk about book club and then we do a Resident Evil Resistance tier list of characters or something like that.
Or we could even extend it and just do Resident Evil characters.
Oh, just Resident Evil characters? We could do that too.
Yeah, I think that might not be a bad one. I think a lot of people would like to hear that.
Yeah.
Where's Wesker gonna go?
S tier. I'll answer that for you.
Easily.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh, I love this. Yeah, I'm happy.
yeah, I'm looking
too.
forward to that. I hope you guys are too. All our fans in Romania, all of our audio only listeners, thank you for checking this out with us. On behalf of me, John, Gary the Hopcross, Sinnoh Beats,
Thank you.
and Doug Running Man. We'll see you next time. Hugging
Bye.
Kisses. Bye.